3, 2, 1.
Light them up.
I'm Paul.
This is Buck.
This is the Paul and Buck Show.
Hey, the Big Buckin Deal. Here is download the latest app at paulandbuckshow.podbean.com. Okay, guys, we're back.
What's going
Paul,
on?
we got Paul, Buck, of course, Paul and Buck Show, Big Buckin Deal. We
We're
have
another
a few
show?
guests today, and go ahead and roll into it, because we have a guest that's been here. Well, actually, both guests been here before. We have Donnie before. We have Oscar
Let's
before.
take it back. I was out on the last show.
You were out on the last show.
So you did that solo with your buddies.
Right, and that was a good. I mean, it was good. I mean, it's fun. Like I said, we rolled into it. Like I said, yeah, I mentioned you were out.
No, I didn't hear all the show, man. So did you talk about his truck going to the event?
We talked about his truck.
Did he tell you any details to what happened?
He went into. he called himself Crash now because, unfortunately, the
I
truck.
thought you said he didn't like getting his car dirty, dusty. He went above and beyond.
Well,
He-
so here's the thing with the JJ the Boss deal that was there.
Yeah.
So 3 years ago, he was testing the week before, and that's when he wrecked his truck the first time.
Right.
He laid it on the
sideways
side.
completely.
He was at the JJ Boss event 3 weeks ago, and he
Touched it
sideswiped it. He didn't put it on the roof or nothing. He sideswiped the guardrail. I mean, everybody in that right lane was kind of getting pushed over,
Right.
and there was actually like 4 other cars that
They all touched.
did the same thing. So he said everything straight on that truck is just a tailgate. That's it. Everything else is
Wow.
So, but I mean, he actually got it back, and he ran it this past weekend, and he did good. He went down to the semis.
Yeah.
In the race he was on. So Thomas, his new nickname is Crash, but you know.
Well, Crash is eventually going to win it one of these days. He's got enough motor. He's got enough truck.
He's putting in work. I mean, and you know, with Thomas, he does what he can at the time he
He
has.
just happens to work a lot.
Yeah, he works a lot. So he literally, the truck was still in the trailer from the wreck from last time, and he had to put repair a rack and a steering rod, and he had to get 2 new tires in the front.
Jeez.
So he literally did that on a Friday.
Yeah.
Friday evening, and then Saturday he's racing. So
Leave it at home, go to work, and then next event.
It works out for him. He always got that damn luck. So
Man, I missed out that one. I don't know why I missed it. Why did I miss it? What did I say? I just come up with another excuse.
I didn't go. I mean, I didn't go to it. I
making
mean, I didn't go to the race.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't make it.
Well, Oscar, we were talking in between all of that, and you said, "Hey, let's go ahead and introduce a bike swap meet." And it's been done before in Austin, but
Well, it was
And
your
when-
idea, of course, but
well, you gave me that little lowrider bike, and I went stupid with it, and you know you kind of threw me back into the.
Now, when we say
90s,
bikes, we're
30s,
talking bikes.
Lowrider
like
bicycles. This
Okay,
is
there you go.
complete pedal bikes, vintage
bikes.
bikes, muscle bikes,
vintage type
beach
bikes.
cruisers. It's a whole
Swins.
new world of people that restore these things, and you know I'm kind of.
And I'm kind of excited. Of course, you know, I've had a couple of car swap meets there at the shop, and they've all been successful. Did them last year.
Right.
And I'm going to have one come April the 15th.
April 15th, yeah.
And you thought about having some bikes, and I thought, heck, that's just more people. So,
Right, because we do a bunch of guys that have bikes, and they're show bikes, they're quality bikes, but because we're all involved in cars, we never think about, hey, let's have a bicycle show. But you have my bikes that I built quite a while back.
I got a couple of your bikes now, and I
Yeah.
want the third one.
Oh, yeah, the third one came in a basket, and I put it together, and that's the one I'm going to take to your show and just.
But
kinda
you know,
display.
I'm kind of excited because there's a bike shop in Taylor that just started in January.
Really?
This
What is
year.
what is the name of that bike shop?
The Taylor Bike Shop?
Taylor Bike Shop. Okay, okay. So he's going to come out
Or
there.
the Taylor Bike, maybe it's Taylor Bike Company because
Okay.
it's TBC, and
maybe
I thought it was a Texas beer company when I saw his logo, but it's not. It was the Taylor Bike Company.
Okay.
And
And so they're going to come out, but where are they at? Where are they at in Taylor? Just
they're on Main Street.
Main Street, okay.
Like the 103 Main Street.
okay.
Right across the street from the old beer company.
10-4.
And and he's doing very well. And he's got a few old bikes, and he's out of Austin. He's been in the business for about 30 years out of Austin.
Okay.
So he's familiar with the old bikes and the new stuff.
Right.
But it's a repair shop, and it's a sales operation.
Yeah, it's big business, especially when I started building bikes just for my kids, and just because I like these old vintage bikes, I realized every time I'd go to the what used to be Bucks Bikes in Round Rock, they closed. Now it's a different name, but road bikes, it's a big thing in Austin, and even from what I understand, the swap meets that they used to have in Austin, they turned more, from what I hear, more into a road bike type thing, and so I guess what you don't see anymore is the vintage bikes.
Yeah. Well, you got your collectors,
Right.
and then you got your mountain bike riders.
Exactly.
You got the guys that ride from Georgetown to Taylor, on the side
True.
roads.
Yeah.
You got
Cyclists,
all kinds of.
Yeah.
And he caters to everybody, so
Nice.
he does tune-ups, what we would consider a tune-up, and
Yeah.
a tune-up on a bicycle could be even as much as adjusting the spokes and.
Yeah, adjusting or even building a wheel is big money. I've tried it. It's not an easy thing to just throw some spokes on there and get the wheel to run true. So those guys, that's a lost art for these bicycle guys. But anyway, so they're gonna go out there, and I'm sure there's gonna be a few other guys that I found that they're involved. We met one in at the model car show when we went out there to the
New Braunfels.
no here in Austin, the one that they had down over where they had the livestock show and the Lone Star Roundup inside the building.
Oh, at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, at the
Right,
fairgrounds. So I met a guy there, and he's big bikes and also lowrider bikes, and so he comes by and I tell him, hey man, how much do you like lowriders? He goes, oh man, I love lowriders. I said, well then here man, I'm gonna give you this lowrider some other guy gave me from back there. I said, here, you take it. He's like, what? I said, yeah man, it's probably the only one that's here, but I said it's a really good piece, and it's all gold plated 64, beautiful little lowrider with Dayton wheels. I mean, it's nice, but turns out that he's real big into bicycles, and so he's gonna be there, and he does the big beach cruisers that have the big fat white walls and that swoop line frames that you normally see in California or riding, and so he's gonna be there. And then there's another guy from Taylor. He's big into BMX bikes, the freestyle era bikes, GT, and especially GT, and the stuff he's gonna bring is probably gonna be
Is that Coy?
Coy.
Belushi?
You know Coy,
Yeah.
yeah, you know Coy.
Well, I'm kind of excited about it. Y'all been to my shop. It's not a very big. It's about a 2-lot. It's all
Right.
concrete.
It's all
And
full.
when we have the cars, we try to have a little show and shine on cars, but they take up a lot of space. You can maybe get 3 or 4 cars. But with the bicycles, heck, we can put 20, 30 bikes.
Right.
And that's great for the kids,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
even adults. So.
But you do have access on the other side of the street,
yeah.
the other lot
If you
for
have to,
people.
right.
Yeah. So just in case everybody gets overwhelmed, don't find no parking. There is actually some parking for you guys to come and check it out. It's always, like I said, you've already done 3 of those, and they've all turned out to be unique swap meet shows where normally you don't find some of the stuff that has popped up at your garage. Some of these pieces are, traditional
Yeah,
pre-war.
well, these are some of my buddies that have had parts for a long time that they just sit in their garage or shop or
Right.
whatever. And somebody's always looking for old parts, so it's just a win-win for them.
Right,
And
magnesium wheels,
yeah,
dragster
we had
wheels.
one guy out of Houston
Yeah.
traveled away from Houston
Right.
to sell magnesium wheels, and he sold a couple of sets, so he made some money.
What is the price on one of those wheels?
Well, to get a good set of magnesium wheels, you're talking about $2,500, $3,500, and then that weekend it just happened. There was a guy out of San Antonio that has a garage full of magnesium wheels, so they got together and he wanted to go look at his collection, and the guy in San Antonio didn't really want to sell. But
Yeah, get to networking though at the same time.
I put the wheel right back down as soon as I said real magnesium. Oh, I just walked away. I'm like, I won't afford that.
Yeah.
So, but those were some nice wheels. He had some 16s, actual dragster,
some, like 20-car dragster
yeah.
type.
And his dad had he raced a funny car or a dragster or something.
It was an altered.
Altered, there you go, yeah.
It was an altered.
Did he have it there? I don't remember if he brought it.
no,
No,
it
he just
wasn't
had the photos, right?
He had pictures of it.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of unique stuff that comes out of that swap meet.
Oh yeah. You get to meet a lot of
And,
them. People you never know would ever think.
Yeah, unless you go, you have no idea. I don't have the words to explain the kind of cool stuff that I see go through that place. There was a real nice 3-window 32 Ford
34.
34? Okay,
yeah.
that was
And
a
that's
nice
the guy
car.
out of San Antonio
Okay.
that had all the shop full of magnesium
Yeah.
wheels.
And so that car's already been restored, and I thought I've seen it in a magazine or it's about to be or something.
I'm not sure it's been in a magazine, but if it's the same
It's
one
caught
you're
coverage.
talking about, he was out of San Antonio.
Okay, that was a really nice car. So, and that was a period correct car, right? Once from back in the day or something like that.
I believe he's been around a good while.
Okay. So there you go. I mean, that's kind of cool stuff that you'll see, and the Thunderbolts.
Well, the Thunderbolts, a couple of the members have set up a table, so they're always fun to hang out
The
with.
originals.
Yeah,
They
some of the
usually hang
originals.
out. Yeah.
And some of the originals will come out just to visit. They don't
Yeah.
bring anything to sell, and they may not buy anything, but it's
Right.
always great to visit with them guys.
But if you want to meet those guys and you hear about them,
Oh, yeah.
that's where you'll meet them. And these guys are, what age group would you say these guys are in?
Oh, they're in their mid-80s, and
Yeah, and they will make us look silly. I mean, I was, funny story. You went to the Little River drags, and when you blew up your nitro motor, Olin, he passed me right up while I was running to go help you. He just passed me up, and I said, "Holy shit! This guy's he's like 90, and he ran faster than me."
well,
And
he's 86, and
outlasted me.
he and I and another club
Yeah.
member went to Bonneville about 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and Bonneville, if you've never been there, it's from where you sit to the pits, it could
Mm-hmm.
be as far as 3 or 4 miles.
Donnie knows, right?
It's a long ways, and Olin was keeping up with me.
Wow.
Of course, he's got a new heart, so
Yeah.
that helps.
oh,
Well,
shoot, that makes sense.
The new ticker, yeah, that makes a big
Titanium heart, man. That's what it is. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my crap.
Yeah,
I always
it's
preach about
Yeah.
turn off your phones, and here I am doing this stuff. Donnie, turn off your phone. No, I'm just kidding.
So on April the
Yeah.
15th, right?
April 15th,
Saturday,
next month.
7 a.m.
time 7
7
a.m.
a.m. to 2, but
Yeah.
we'll stay a little later.
Of course.
Right.
This go round, I may have a food truck out there selling hot dogs. So
Is that right?
If you're
Yeah.
if you're hungry,
Oh, shit, there you go.
somebody-
Right. If you guys want to come to the show and shine part to bring your bicycles, basically it's a lowrider, muscle bike, vintage bike, or anything cool, pre-90s. You can come and display your bike.
And there's no fee. I'm not
No.
charging anybody anything.
Everybody's here to just have
If
a
you're
great
going to
time.
buy something, you got to pay for it. But there's no fee to come look.
Yeah, of course. Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And I've invited everybody, even from because you're real big into model cars and diecast. So you guys listening to the podcast that I've told you guys to come check out, feel free to set up your display booth.
Yeah.
All things lowrider out of Austin will be there. He's got a nice collection of lowrider bikes and muscle bike parts, so he'll be there. Coy, what's his last name again? Balusik. He's bringing his BMX freestyle bikes. I hear he's got a real nice collection from what I see. Man, he's got some nice stuff. I only have a few GTs. He's got way
Yeah,
nicer
they're
ones.
period correct. They're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
nice.
Mine are just period chrome. Everything else is old and
One of the younger members of the Thunderbolt,
Mm-hmm.
he's got some traditional hot rods and parts, and he's kind of excited about the vintage bikes.
Is he? Okay.
His boss has a few,
yeah.
so when they heard about it, they're.
I've seen some photos. He's got some really cool stuff also. Like I said, everybody who's into the hot rod scene, there's always a guy who collects muscle bikes. Eric Starlin out of Buda, he does swap meets all over the place. You guys know him. He's going to be bringing his vintage bikes. He's got a small collection. He's also a big lowrider bicycle builder. I don't know if you knew that, Donnie. But oh yeah, he's got some nice lowrider bikes, and it made me jealous when I saw him like 15 years ago. I'm like, why didn't I ever build one? I should have. But he gave me an opportunity. He gave me a frame, and so I just took it apart and.
I want it back, by the way.
Yeah, he wants it back now. That I sent him some photos. We're gonna put our bikes on display. So Eric will have his, and I'll have Oscar's bike there, and we're all gonna have a great time. So hopefully you guys listening, check us out on YouTube as well, and you can see this podcast. And we'll see you at the show April 15th, and 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. So get there early because there's no reserve.
Yeah. And we'll be there. We don't know what the weather's going to be like. Hopefully, it's a
Right.
good cloudy day where it won't be so hot. But it could be pouring rain. Who knows?
Yeah, it's Texas.
I'll be there. But
It's the 5-1-12. You don't know what it's going to turn out like. So, could be good. It could be like every other event we've had there. It's always been a nice cloudy day.
they've always been good. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for stopping by, Oscar. You want to put a plug in? Because today we're also doing the plastic surgeons.
We meet on the second Tuesday of every month at my shop there in Taylor. And we got, of course, yourself being a member.
I'm one of them. And who's the other two members you brought with us
They
today?
got a couple of members here. Will Martinez out of Round Rock. And Will's got, unbeknownst to me, he's got a few hot rods, but he also did plastic models. So we've become
There you go.
pretty close
Yeah,
friends.
if you guys go to a model show and you see some real cool traditional model car roadsters, that's probably Will's stuff.
And if you're on Instagram, he's known as Speedy Martinez.
Speedy Martinez on Instagram. Come and check him out. Hey, you better start loading some photos now, man. Hey, what car club do you represent, Will?
The Dukes.
Duke's Car Club, Austin, Texas.
Duke's
That
Car
is
Club,
one of
wow.
the oldest
Car
car clubs out of Austin, and he proudly represents that. He's here today, and hopefully we'll bring him on, and he'll, they'll discuss the club and how it formed and how they brought it back. But there's still guys around that from back in that era that still are around today, and you'll see them in car shows, and you'll never know that these guys are there. But like I said, Will represents that club, and shoot, I'm just stoked that he's part of the modeling group
Me
here.
too.
You know what I mean?
Me too.
So-
I'm really honored. I'm
Yeah.
really honored that he comes out.
That you joined the club too, right? Yeah, that's cool.
He does have a touch of class.
Yeah, there you go.
And then we also have Ken Treadwell out of Pflugerville.
I forget his name, but
And
yeah, he's here.
Ken, of course, likes to build model cars, but he's into airplanes, mostly into aviation or airplanes.
Ken was Air Force, so
Yeah.
he knows his planes, he knows his jets, he knows his stuff, man.
And he kind of wanted to be one of us, so he bought a '64 Buick Skylark convertible. So
Yeah.
he now cruises a real car now.
Yeah, that's a real nice. But he also has a nice truck, man.
Yeah.
We saw you. We're passing up by you one day on the way to one morning meet, and my son goes, "No, I don't think that's Ken. That guy has Popeye arms." And we're like, "Popeye?" Ken gets he's like, "What are you talking about?" I don't know Popeye. I don't know. You got Popeye arms.
But prior to
But that truck's cool. You have a lowered long bed? What is that? What year is that truck?
71 Chevy C10.
Okay, and it's
you
a
go.
hot, it's a hot
3 in the
rod.
front, 5 in the back.
Nice.
Eventually, someday, maybe I'll turn it into a short bed. I got the kit for it and the bed for it, but my brother-in-law was trying to convince me just to paint it and leave
Yeah.
it as it is and then sell it and go get something else.
Okay, well,
But
I mean that Buick's pretty cool. What year is that Buick?
It's a 64.
64 Buick convertible.
Right
Wow.
now it's in pieces.
I'll turn it into a lowrider if you drop it off at my house. So
Hopefully I get it running in a couple of weeks, so I'll get it running
cool.
again.
Well, we're glad to see it out here whenever you come back next time. So we'll have some fun.
I hope I'm bringing it to the meet in April.
The swap meet? Yeah. So there you go. That was our introductory to the event.
Yeah, and just a real quick plug,
Yeah.
there's going to be a big national event in San Marcos in August. I think it's August the 2nd.
Yes.
IPMS, big national event of model cars from all over the country,
Oh,
all
yeah,
over
you
the
did tell me.
world.
Okay.
They're going to be
Yeah.
out there, so we'll be there in full force.
Okay. So I'm gonna try and see if I can make it
There you
on
go.
that one this time. So
That's like a 2 or 3 day thing. It's like for the whole
2 or
weekend.
3 days.
It's
Wow.
It's just not one day for like 6
Yeah.
hours. It's like 2 days.
Wow.
But there'll be folks from Japan and
Yeah,
all over the world.
I was
International,
surprised.
huh?
I was surprised at the one that was in Austin. The first one I ever went with you. Didn't win anything. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing, but you won. You won something. Will won something. So that was cool. They took some awards. Yeah, but no, when they were calling out the people.
Well, you know what the key to that is?
Huh.
You got to take your own trophy. That way. when
Oh
walk out,
shit! You
walk
gotta
out
know
with
the
your own
guy. There you go. You just representing that one. No, there's a few people out of Japan. Seriously,
Oh, yeah.
some people showed up here in Austin with model airplanes
Australia.
out of Japan. Yeah, Australia. Yeah.
and just all over the world.
So yeah, modeling. Like I said, that's another completely.
But that's just a
different-
local show.
Yeah.
The one coming up in August is a national
Wow.
event, so there'll be people from all over France, Germany, and
Wow. Okay. Well, cool, man. we will tie this one up, and we've got another guest coming in that we had on before, and y'all know him, Donnie Dye. Donnie, say what's going on.
Donnie, I'll give you the chair. This way you got full view of the.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll do a swap.
Yeah, swap it out. That'd be a good deal. Good deal. All right. Awesome, dude. Donnie, how you been doing?
I'm doing good.
Good, man. It's been a few, like I said on the last episode, and glad you made it back to kind of fill us in what's been going on from.
You've done a few things
from last
Where
time.
to start?
Where do you
It
start?
hasn't even been that long. What's it been? 6 months?
No, it's actually probably just been 5 months. Actually, I think it was in
Yeah.
September. So about 5. Well, shit, it's probably been 6 months. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So out of that one show, a few people that came on actually listened to your show, and they know your name. We had Chris Salisbury come on. 2 weeks ago, and then we released it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he knows exactly who you are. He says you taught him how to go and
drag
race at Little River, and he didn't have the fastest car, but he was all excited because he remembered you. So with that said, we said, you know what, we were in contact with each other to come back onto the show and to discuss how you got into your new personification, your adventure, how you approach things now. You talked a little bit last time you were on the show, but it looks like you're having a great time, and man, I wish I could do it. I tried it, and it lasted about this much, and then I got lost, and I said, you know what? I don't know, man. Should I just call this guy as my lifeline? What do I do now? I'm confused. Should I go left or I go right? But the way your instinct works, I think it works pretty good for you. And so explain to us what you've been doing over the last 3 months. So you were looking for a Dodge Challenger. Well, you actually found a '67 as a Chevelle.
Right.
Oh.
Explain that. What went on with there? How'd you get that car? That was nice.
Crazy story. So I kind of, wow, where did we even start on that?
It was in the garage. It was parked there for a while.
Yeah. So basically, I kind of operate on. I just kind of let the universe do its magic. In other words, I realized I cannot predict the future,
Right.
and I don't know at what point I thought I could do that. But anyway, so instead, I just kind of just switched it and just said, hey, let's see what the universe can provide, right? So I just
You're kind of like following an instinct somewhat, right?
Right. My wife, she says you listen to the universe.
That's what they call it. What is it true? Is it what they call it? That way everybody has a third eye, but if you don't listen to it, or
I think
in some way,
I think it's just a combination of things. It's an openness. It's kind of, I think that in a lot of ways we kind of create our own existence,
right?
And so as a sarcastic joke to myself, I'll say, all right, oh bountiful, all-knowing, endless universe. Let's see what you got. If I'm creating my own existence without any ego or any of this crazy whatever, self-absorbed whatever, but just say if I'm creating my own what I pull towards me and what I push away from me, well, what would I want to pull to me and what would I want to push away from me, right? So then I just kind of just stay real open to. Hey, I'll put it out there. Hey, I want a 70 Challenger, right?
Right.
I had 2 of them.
And I found myself working for you somehow.
Well, what's funny is so in that pull and push of our own existence, we can create our own reality in our own physical within our physical reach, right? Well, we can move that can here. I want it there in my picture. I'll give me a magician, right?
Right.
But not that aspect of it, but in the that what you verbally say and what the universe listens and other people listen and you can work in harmony with it instead of just saying that's not for me, that's not possible, man, I can't do that, that's not right, man, who does that, nobody does that. It's like, you got to say, it is possible, it's all possible,
right?
So so I'll just put it out there, and then I just totally let go of expectations of how it's going to come back. Mm-hmm. Let the universe do its magic, and trust in that. And like with the Challenger, I don't know who it was that. It's 5 a.m. I'm up, of course, and this is before I had the Challenger. I'm looking up, anyway, Challenger stuff.
Yeah.
And a guy messages me at, I think it was 4:30 or 5:30, and he messaged me, hey, I thought you might want to see this, and it was a Challenger, right? And he's like, man, I'm sorry for texting you or messaging you so early. I don't know what made me do that. I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, it's the opposite. This is spot on what I believe, and like I think this is great, man. I really appreciate you sending me that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyway, back to the Chevelle. So I saw a bus in Amarillo. It's this what is it? Something Tigers, right? It's got a tiger on it. It's got all these graphics. I was like, whoa, check out that bus. That's right. I had low mileage. It had a 5.9 2-valve.
Okay.
Low mileage.
So you're looking for a bus.
Originally, I was looking, right, this is
Okay.
this is Chevelle's story. So I'm driving back, and it starts bucking and breaking down, and I'm like, oh, come on. So then it wouldn't idle, or it wouldn't run if you weren't below 1,500, 2,000 RPMs, right? So I'm cutting through these small towns, and I've got one on the gas and on the brake and neutral and drive. And
What size bus is it? Is it a little?
this is a 40-foot, 35-foot bus.
Oh, you make it sound like it's like a little
No, this thing's huge.
school bus, man.
This thing was huge.
Okay.
And anyway, so
You're picking up people, and people are just like, why the hell aren't you picking me up, Graham?
right,
All right.
basically. And so then I get all the way to, I was like, oh man, I got one more light, and I'm gonna hit the toll road in Cedar Park. Get on 183. I have no plates. I mean, it's a freebie.
Oh,
It's a
wow.
freebie, right?
Yeah. Hit the
I've probably driven 15,000 miles with
Yeah.
no plates. That's another story. Last year,
You didn't drink coffee, by the way.
I need to.
Oh, well, that's another story. We'll
Yeah,
get
yeah.
to that.
All right. Anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, I get to that last light before I enter 183. It stalls out. That's it.
Oh, man.
It's worse than ever. It just had a rotten gas line. It was sucking
Yeah.
air. It happens, So it's 10 o'clock at night. I'd been on the road 20 hours. I'm like, good. I'm glad it broke down. I don't have to drive this anymore. Let's call the tow truck. I don't care what it costs. This is fine. This is
Right.
great. I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Because you're close to town already.
Right. I'm like, the tow's not going to be, the end of the world. And so, of course, it was Williamson County, right? So Williamson County DPS pulls up, and I'm like, I haven't had the best experiences, I guess, with Williamson County.
Yeah.
Nah, they're
Nobody
great, great people.
Nice guys,
Yeah,
nice
of
guys.
course.
They just have to follow the book.
But they're very, they don't want the riff. I don't want to keep the riff raff down,
Right,
and
right.
I'm the riff raff, so that's fine. I get it. And so, so he pulls up. He's like, "Hey, is any kids on the bus?" I said, "No. This is just."
You mind if we search?
Open
the trunk?
No, they do. They
Okay.
do. And I said, this is just for movie production. I rent them out for movie sets, HBO, whatever. Okay. Do you mind if we we need to verify the VIN number, make sure everything's whatever? I was like, yeah, sure, come on. I got on the bus, showed him, and then I'm sitting there looking at him. I said, hey, you ever get those guys that like the YouTube videos, am I being detained, all that crap.
Yeah.
And he just looks at me, he's like, yeah, I'm not that guy. I'm just,
We're not gonna go through that right here.
just get him laughing.
We're gonna have a camera, dude.
Right. And he's like, where's your plates? I said, well, they just changed the law. You have to get it inspected within the county you reside. And I tried, but obviously I'm picking up from Amarillo, so what can I do? He goes, well, I actually just went through that with my personal car, or with a trailer or something.
Yeah.
Right.
So he was real sympathetic. Anyway, we get out, and the guys are actually some of the coolest guys that I'd met in a long time. They were cutting up, and another guy showed up, a supervisor or something, and then we got talking about movies, and somehow toilets came up, prison toilets, right?
Oh my God.
And he goes, yeah, the prison toilets came up in my feed, because it listens, and I said, yeah, that's those. He goes, you're the toilet guy? I was like, yeah. I said, yeah, I actually am the toilet guy.
Actually, I am.
And that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Part two. Yeah.
part two, right?
Should be part two this time. Okay.
Right. And so anyway, so one of the officers that were there, he's, we're talking. He said, people think they always want classic cars from movies, but a lot of times they just want a mid '90s 4-door sedan Beretta or something, or whatever kind of car,
Yeah.
Lumina or something.
Right.
And he goes, yeah, I've got a classic car. I said, oh yeah, that's
shit.
cool. And so I said, what is it? He said, it's a '67 Chevelle. I've been trying to get rid of it. Nobody wants it.
Oh my God.
And I'm like,
Yeah, it did make sense, right? But
yeah. He's like, I've got 37,000 in that car, and I'm thinking it's like my projects. It's
Right.
it's a shell
Yeah.
with boxes on it, no wheels, no motor, no interior, and I've got 37,000 in this hunk of junk, you know. That's what I'm thinking. I don't need it. I was like, is it a 2 or 4? He said, no, it's a hard top. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I said, man, look, if you want, just send me some pictures, and I'll see. Maybe I'll find somebody, you know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, okay, give him my card, whatever. He sends me the pictures. You saw the car.
Dude.
It's finished. It's a finished out.
I'm like, holy shit. You know,
It's better than car show. It's nice.
It's crazy, right? It's AC, big block, 4-speed, 12-bolt or in, disc brake conversion, sway bars, clean interior, and then he's like, yeah, the seat, you can see it's kind of worn. I'm sorry about that, but I got a whole new interior that I'm giving with the car too. I'm like, okay. I'm like,
yeah, how much?
Right. Well, 10,000. He's asking 10,000, but nobody was offering, so he'll you know, like our best offer.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, when's your next day off? You know, oh, I'm off tomorrow. I said, okay, cool. I'll be there in the morning. I'll see, you know, I want to check it out, you know. And
so they let you go though. I mean,
so I ended up getting the bus towed, you know, whatever. But of course now I can't sleep, you know, because I'm excited, you know. And so
you're already looking for wheels. Hey, Paul, do you have any rally wheels? They're hard to find. Right. Do you even have the car yet? No, but I'm going to get it.
Right. It's crazy. So then I went the next day, went and looked at it, and it was better than the pictures.
Wow. It really is a nice car.
You know, I didn't grasp this. I didn't really care what the story was, but I pictured, you know, maybe his wife had cheated on him. They used to ride in the car. Every time he looks at the car, he wants to bomb it. I don't know.
Pissed,
It didn't make any sense because matters of the heart don't make financial sense.
Right.
You know, whether that's your hobbies, love life, all those things. So
apparently, somehow in his brain, it made sense.
Well, he said, I'm no longer into classic cars. I'm into Jeeps. So I was like, okay, I respect that. I get it. You know, maybe, you know, you kind of fade in and out of things, I guess. I don't know. And he's like, yeah, so I'm looking at the car. And he's like, yeah, I really hate that transmission. I'm like, oh, okay, what kind is it? He's like, I don't know. I said, okay, I look underneath. It's aluminum case, 4-speed, you know, Muncie something. I'm like, well, that doesn't suck. He's like, but I got another transmission that goes with it. It's an 8-speed, 4L80 or whatever that thing is. And, you know, I bought that $2,000. I just never put it in the car. I was like, okay.
Wow.
I'm like, okay. I said, well, of course, it's worth $10,000 all day, you know. So then I'm like, but then he says best offer, so I don't want to like offer him 10 when I know he'll take less. And
right.
So I offered him 8, and he's like, well, I tell you what, I said 8, you keep the transmission. Yeah. He's like, no, I tell you what, I'll do 9, you can have the transmission too.
Damn.
I'm like, all right. I said, cool. So
you're playing in his field. I mean, that's what he wanted. Yeah.
So he was happy. I was happy. I got it home. Got it flatbed at home. About 4 days later, I was like, hey, can I keep it here? He's like, yeah, no problem. So so got it flatbedded, got it home, put fresh gas in it. He never told me the story. He never said.
Did it run?
He never said. Right, and it didn't matter. The car was in such great shape. Even if it needed a motor, even if it needed whatever, you know, I like engines, so you know, no problem. So anyway, I got to looking at it, get it home, put fresh gas, fresh battery, blow out the carburetor, but it didn't need it. It was like, this thing's immaculate. Like this is a fresh build. You know, it turns out that the car had been built in a hot rod shop in Florida. He drove it from Florida to Austin. I think he parked it.
Wow.
So what happened, looking at the car, I'm looking, and the brake booster hose is off.
Oh,
and I'm looking, and they had left the nut loose on the back of the carburetor, and the booster line had hung in the throttle. So I could imagine someone that didn't know punches it, the throttle hangs wide open, he loses his brakes. If he did get it started, it runs like it's exploded.
Right.
And I think that's what he thought.
Wow.
But I didn't know that. You know, I didn't know. You know.
Had you gotten yourself in that predicament driving it, I mean, that's pretty much a grenade ready for you to wreck or.
Right.
Yeah, right. So it could have gone disastrous for you, but
for him.
But
but I saw that, right?
But if you wouldn't have, but you're a good mechanic, so you're always going to look over your stuff.
Right.
And, that turned out to be a really nice car.
That was a really nice car.
Now, when was that? When did you was that like recently? Like
4 months, 3-4 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 or 4 months ago. Yeah. So I got it, and I was looking at it. You know, the car had been built out like a '70s teenager. You know, Corvette rallies all the way around, 9-inch all the way around.
Gotcha.
It's not my style. It's dated, I would say. So I went. I got some of those I got the narrow rims. I got the red line tires, which that's
Oh,
timeless on those cars, and it was a factory option.
Yeah, the car looked real
Yeah, the
80ish.
red-
It had the
yeah.
late 80s look when he got it. Well, I liked it. I mean,
Yeah, it was cool, but it was just
It's dated for the
Yeah.
time.
it's dated, and also if for potential next buyer,
Right.
you want it very universal. You don't want to add your own touches because things you may
It's hard
like,
to buy then. It's
it,
hard
then
to sell.
it
It's
takes
Right.
it takes away. It doesn't add, it takes away, unless that specific buyer's looking for it.
correct.
But I already had my eyes, of course, on the Challenger. I wanted a Challenger.
That's what you're after, yeah.
That's what I was after. So I tried to trade it, right? I tried to find. Remember, I posted, "Hey, you got a '70 Challenger? I'll trade."
Right.
But your Mopar freaks and your Chevy guys, your Bowtie guys, they're not in the same group.
No, different
You
world.
know,
yeah.
they're different folks. You know, so I said, "Fine, I'll go ahead and I'll just sell it." I found a buyer. I posted on, I think, Marketplace. I found a buyer in 3 days, and it was gone.
Wow.
So then there's it was gone.
I remember I asked about the car. I thought it belonged to a guy in my neighborhood when I was a kid. He literally built that exact same car. It looked just like it. It went down to the parking lots, when we were younger, and he would always park his car there. And I mean, he got rid of that one. He built one identical to it, same Corvette rally wheels, the tires, how they, gift grids, and then he built a 4-door edition because I think he wrecked that one in the rain on Congress. He built the 4-door version, put on the same rally wheels, chrome 12-bolt cover, red sway bars, and I don't know what happened to that car. And then he built another one, identical to that one. So
That's funny.
from the mid 80s, from high school all the way through the mid 90s, he's always had a car that looked just like that one. So when I saw yours, I'm like, is that the Bolero red car that I did used to have?
Right.
But I it wasn't. So
Yeah, it was out of Florida.
but that was one hell of a car. So it was a 396 car or 427 car. What did you put in it?
Somebody put a 454 in it.
Oh.
They put a truck motor, so it's probably 200 horsepower maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Anemic.
It was it was a cruiser. It was a cruiser.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was built for show, and there was no go.
Never showed no.
And I thought about aluminum heads and all this, but it wasn't. When I drive the car, a lot of women would come up to me and talk to me, and hey, but I'm not that guy. I'm married. I'm not trying to.
Please get off me.
I'm not
Get off
trying
me.
to zoom.
Thank you.
Zoom. Yeah. Get back up. Step back. Get out of the car.
You're gorgeous. I'll see you later.
Right. It's just
Fonzie.
Yeah, it's just not my.
Well,
it wasn't my style.
Yeah.
I like a car that I can. That car was too nice.
It really was.
It's. I like. Man, you get a door ding. I don't care. Hey, I want something that hauls ass. And that I can enjoy. And when something's too nice, it freaks me out. It's like
True.
and it's like I want to use it. I don't want to just like that's
Sit
it.
right.
Sit in the garage. It freaks me out. I don't know. So anyway, it just wasn't my style. My wife, when she went with me, she's watching me. She's like, "You don't like this car, do you?" I was like, "No." Some cars make you feel alive, and make you feel. This one, it just was wrong.
It's gonna go.
But you made.
It was wrong.
But you flipped it and made some. I mean, I would imagine, right? I mean,
25 is what I cleared on it.
Well, let me ask you this. I never
damn
actually.
good.
So then,
Well, I've never asked you
Sure.
what kind of car guy you really are. I've known you with Mustangs.
Yep.
I've known you with some really nasty Mustangs.
Yeah.
But what in your heart, in your brain, every time you wake up in the morning,
Yep.
what is the car the mate that you think you belong in? Like we had an earlier conversation with Will. Will says, "Hey, I like anything prior to a certain year. Anything after that, I'm not that car guy. Just that's
I
not.
can tell you.
So what are you?
So I like. So I have a fear of becoming my dad one day, right? So I actively pursue the opposite.
Right.
So if he's wearing whitey tighties, I'm wearing boxers. Right. If he's got white socks on, I got dark socks on.
Oh shit.
If my mom used to order the food for him when we sit down to dinner, no, one day my wife ordered my food for me. It freaked me out. we're not doing that, right? So I switched it up. It's like you go to a restaurant, you get used to eating the same food, the same waitress, the same place you sit, the same all. It's like
Eventually you become Elvis.
the only difference between a rut and a grave is how deep the rut is, right? And that freaks me out. So instead, like when I order, I'll have the waitress or waiter. hey, you pick everything. I have no allergies. I like hot. I like spicy. I like vegetable. I like meat. In fact, you can take it off the employee menu. If you like the sides, if you like adding this, if you like taking that off, whatever you want to do,
Give me something.
just do it.
Right.
And then like, what would you like to drink? And it's like, well, what would I like to drink? You know?
See, this is why we had to have him back, because he needed to explain a little more thoroughly on what you meant.
So to the cars.
Yes.
So to the car.
Wow.
No power steering, no power brakes, no AC. Like I don't want to be comfortable. I don't want to be that comfortable old man. You know, I don't want to be that. Being comfortable freaks me out because it's like this lullaby into everything's okay. Like just you're just getting by. You're just another day.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wait till payday. Wait till payday.
Oh my God. I want to. That freaks me out. Right.
Yeah.
So I can't do it. And so so my ideal car, like with my '69 Mustang, you know, I have that, and it's a stick shift. It's no AC. It's manual windows. No power. It's less I got to work on too. You know,
Right.
It's got one belt for the water pump. In fact, it doesn't even have that. It's got the belt for the alternator. You know, it has a water drive. You know, little drive. You know, for the water pump. But so I like a car that is kind of scary. That is, you're in control. But it'll take you there. You know, you're kind of together. You know,
You can kind of feel. Yeah. You can feel it,
you know all of its little things, and you know if it's you're so in tune with it. You go up a hill, and you can feel the air density change, and you can hear it run a little different.
Wow.
You know, and you go down in the dip, and it's more dense, and you can feel all those things.
You know what would make me nervous way back in the day when we were doing that street racing? The fact that I was in tune with my car. You know, like you're saying, but the fact that I knew every little section of that engine that I knew that could cause a fire. You know, like if that oil line right there was just a little too close to the exhaust, I knew that I was in deep shit, and it would worry me that I didn't have a fire extinguisher with me. Right. But I knew all the potentials of what if the needle and seat blows and the fuel starts going. That's I'm in tune with the car, and that's exactly what you're describing. You know everything. Yeah, you want to know everything.
That's my most enjoyable car. Okay. You know, I like the Bronco. I like the other cars that I have, but really for me, for what I'm going to build, it's that kind of car. Simple.
Right.
Simple. Less things I've got to deal with, the more I can enjoy it.
Right. So obviously this Chevelle had way too many things. Creature for comfort. Right. You know what I mean?
To me, the Chevelle was an old man car.
Creature comfort, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it had AC, it had power. I mean, this power steering was, the brakes were real nice. You know, it's like, I didn't like that.
Right.
You know?
So the car's gone.
Car's gone.
And finally, how did you come up with this? I want this 70 Dodge Challenger, because you bought a previous Mopar. So, what happened to that?
So I still have it. It's a 70 Coronet.
Okay.
Yeah, Coronet.
It's getting painted. There was a picture I saw of a you can Google it, but if you Google 70 RT Coronet, right? There's this beautiful green RT. It was on Mecum auction or whatever, and they've got pictures all over the internet. I was like, that's a beautiful color. And back in the day, a dark green car, the first thing you do is paint it red or paint it.
It was bad luck. It's known as bad luck. Green.
Green car was
I didn't know that, so I painted my green interior, tan again on the Chevelle.
All the green cars were nice.
Yeah.
But the first thing you do is you paint a different color.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That was not
green.
But since you don't see it anymore, I was like, I want to bring that back. It just looks good with that car. With the angry headlights. The 70 Coronet. But the cars, the 70 Challenger, I saw Vanishing Point probably when I was young. It came out in 71, the original one. Mm-hmm. Of course, we all know the guy kills himself in the end. He drives into the bulldozers.
Right. Yeah, I could never understand that why. But anyway, that's what the movie is for.
Yeah, I mean, I understood why. I understand even now today, even more so. Even my adult, I understand why.
Even more so.
Right.
But that's another. That's when I during drugs days. But you just reach this. You're just high, and you get so high that everything is perfect and beautiful, and it's never going to be better than it is in that moment. So if you end it in that moment, you end it in your mind on a high note, but really you're just a junkie driving into a bridge pillar,
Yeah, you know what's weird? You know what's weird? I didn't witness it, but I heard it. I was at my house, and there was a guy that something had happened to him up in Georgetown. And similar to the Vanishing Point, but this guy had it gone in 60 seconds, Mustang. One of the new ones, conversion, the old conversion bit. Something happened, he decided to floor it, and right at my exit to my house, where I can clearly hear traffic, he decided to plow head on into the police car that blocked off the whole interstate. And I hear this badass car coming. I'm like, well, and it's like 9 o'clock. The engine's revving, and all of a sudden, boom, and it just stops. That's interesting. Never heard an engine stop like that. And I went back inside my house, but no, it turned out that a guy did a duplicate vanishing point. Wow. So whatever the situation was, obviously it has some mental situation going on with him that probably caused the guy in the movie to do the same thing, right?
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, maybe so. But in that, when I saw that as a kid, I thought, well, we all know the end of the story. We're all going to die in the end, right?
Yeah.
But man, in between, there's a lot of living to do. So it really pushed me to live and want to live and experience life and experience things. Just thinking about that movie, but I had sold. I had two of them. I had a 440 4-speed car and I had a SE 383 with a slapstick, both 70 Challengers, in my early 20s. And at the time, I think I sold them for. I think I sold one for $3,800, and I thought, man, that guy was an idiot for paying that much for that car. And now, you're not going to find one running in the United States for probably 40,000.
Right.
40,000 is about the bottom for a running, driving 70 Challenger. But put it out to the universe, right?
Yeah.
Don't
go back into that hole.
You don't worry about it, right?
Yeah.
You don't. It's not your burden to carry. The universe. You do your thing. You do your part. The universe will do its part, right? So of course, I'm actively putting it out there too. I went on the 70 Challenger groups, right? And I posted.
You have to set your dominoes.
Yeah, you have to do some work. You can't just hey, I'd like $1 million and just sit at home. And
God, can you give me a 70 Challenger? No, it doesn't work like that.
Thanks, universe. Yeah. Right. But so I put that out there, and sure enough, there's a guy in Virginia. I was looking for, it's got to check some boxes. A VA car, white, decent shape, right? No, I'm not, the rest I can deal with.
Right.
Preferably the right color interior, So anyway, this guy in Virginia had one.
Damn.
He messaged me. He said, I'll take 25. I was like, okay. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll be in Kentucky next week. I was more auction stuff.
Damn. More toilets? What was this?
No. This time it was. I'm obsessed with Crown Vics.
Oh shit! Back to the Crown Vics.
Crazy. Yeah, I gotta chill out, dude. I got 8 now.
What?
I got 8 since last time I seen you.
Wow.
Dude. Yeah, because I was like, wow, I've never had a red one. I always wanted a red one. And man, I found a red one in Kentucky. And I was like, oh my god, I want it.
Have you found one with the Cobra heads?
No,
not yet.
Marauder.
Okay.
No.
Well, I heard it'd be a supervisor car if it did have them or something like that.
No, so I have supervisor cars. I have FBI cars. I have DEA cars. So I only buy, well, except for this couple of them. But anyway, but I try to stick to like collector stuff now, like DEA, FBI, upper crust of government agencies. Like Attorney General or some upper crust car. They took good care of it. They wanted to kiss the supervisor's butt, so they took good care of it. It's meticulously maintained.
Wow.
So that's the ones you want. Some of them, they leave the strobes on it. The one I bought in Oklahoma, it had the push bar, still got the cage in it. Still,
wow.
It's cool.
The lights will activate if you turn them on, or they take them out.
In the FBI car, it does.
Wow.
Yeah, they just left it in there. I was like, why would you leave this stuff in here? Like, come on.
You know what I'm going to do.
Right, please,
Show up at a car show.
So that's funny you said that. So 2 weeks ago, we took a prison bus to a car show, and we did the FBI escort. So they hit the lights, and all the prison buses, they have the strobes.
Yeah.
They have the it's a cop bus, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so we pulled in with the FBI car leading it, and then the prisoner bus pulled in to the car show. It was fun.
That's cool.
I was like, oh my god, I'm getting in trouble. But we looked around. We're only doing it like a quarter of a block, and then pulling.
Did you see all the lowriders like in the movie? They just start moving off.
Right.
Hit the switches, fool.
Yeah, it was fun. It's just something different for car shows. And
people who got a warrant probably wouldn't run in.
Right. It was fun.
We saw Oscar, man. He was gone. We didn't find him after that.
Right. So I was making a trip. I drove. So I wanted the trip to be free, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, how am I going to? Okay. So this guy, he bought a parts car from me, a Crown Vic, piece of crap. It was rough, really rough. He said, I'll give you $800 if you bring it to Mississippi. I'm like, hell yeah, $800. That will cover my fuel to drive to Kentucky, then drive to Virginia.
Yeah.
So I dropped it off in Mississippi, went to Kentucky, picked up that red.
Wait, how did you get after you drop it off?
Car dolly. So
okay, gotcha. Okay.
So this person's like, hey, you want a Honda Pilot? I'm like, yeah, sure. so he's like, all right, yeah, we'll just trade out some work. I said, okay, cool. So I was like, man, this Honda Pilot, I've been working on this thing for years. This thing runs great, right? So I use that as the tow vehicle because it's good on gas, and got a tow dolly. So then I dropped that off in Mississippi, drove to Kentucky.
Picked up the other car.
Right. So they said it had a bad transmission, and then I was like, maybe. And so, of course, I'm a mobile mechanic, right? So I show up with a battery, transmission fluid, a few tools, and all it was a little line on the cooler had split. So I just trimmed it up and stuck it back on there.
Put fluid in.
You put fluid in, and I drove it off from there. And anyway, which was really funny because they're like, "Oh, you know that car doesn't drive, right?" And the other guy's like, "No, it's in the parking lot in the front right now." So that was fun, and they remember me because I think I bought a prison bus from that same facility.
Yeah.
So they remembered me.
Was that the one that you Googled and you just went straight down and you said, those are buses, and you went and picked one up or something like that? It was somewhere out there.
Okay, so what I do on that is
what I do on that.
all right, so I do the online government surplus, right?
Right.
Gov Deals, Gov Planet, Public Surplus, I don't know, just all those websites, right? So what was happening, see what happened?
What happened was...
So I'll go over, last year I did over 20,000 miles. This year I think I've done about 10,000 miles this year so far. So at the drop of a hat, if I find the right deal, so if you look at across the United States, the economics change a lot,
Right.
So in some small town USA, this thing's, and nobody, it goes for nothing, right? Come to Austin, Houston, right? Also, it's big money, right? So anyway,
there's always a school ISD somewhere that's going to sell us something.
Always. And so in the beginning, I was losing one out of 4 buses, right? So basically, I'd fly to New York, Florida, wherever, right? And I was losing 1 out of 4. I get in it, a mile later, break down, like, well, call a lift, leave it on the side of the road, deuces, fly home. I don't care. I'm not going to tow this thing. I'm not going to take it to some mechanic shop. Well, see ya. Yeah. So and it's not going to come back to me. It's not even my name.
Right. You haven't changed titles.
Right. So who cares? And the tow company, all they care is they're going to tow it, send the letters out. No one's going to claim it. They get a free bus.
It's working. It's the nature of.
It's just part of it.
Yeah.
It's just part of it, and it's meant to be. It's not. Well, and for me, I'm walking down the highway. It's a beautiful day. I have no problems.
In the neighborhood.
I have no problems. Okay, the third bus you bought this month broke down. Who gives a crap? Man, you're on top. Like, you're winning.
Right.
Like you're blessed to even be in this situation.
Right.
So it's a win-win.
That definitely put me in a different.
It didn't ruin my day.
Man. Yeah.
This was great.
Yeah. There's no burden there to you no more, right?
I'm not in some job. I want to vomit every time I go. Anyway, this is great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So then I said, man, all right, that's cool and all, but I need an inside dude.
Yeah.
So how am I going to get an inside dude? I was like, I know what I'll do. Okay, so if you envision the whole government online auction thing, right? You got the auction house, you got the sellers.
It's not easy to read though. Somebody's got to. I've looked at it. Mm-hmm. It's just pages of shit.
Right, but there's patterns to it, right?
There is, but I don't know.
Okay,
it's like the stock market. You just don't know how to play it. I'll lose it.
It's pretty easy. Okay, so on the bidding side, when people are bidding, they bid heavy in the top. Right, so they're like, hey, I told my Uncle Bob I was going to buy something in the auction. I told my cousin I was going to buy something in the auction. And they zoom in on the very first thing. I got to get it. Okay, right? So then, and if you look in the middle of the auction, nobody's bidding, right? So then at the end, they go, holy shit, I told Bob I was going to buy something. I got to buy something. I don't care what it is. I got to get it, right? But in the middle, they just go make cereal or coffee or something. I don't know what they do. So I bid heavy. Yeah. When I say bid heavy, I bid light, a real low bid. And a lot of times I'll get them. Anyway, so, but before I do that, I'll say, okay, I'm interested in these vehicles. So what I'll do, my inside guy, so the auction house, you got the auction house, they sell the stuff. Mm-hmm. You got the government entity, right? The secretary, they say, hey, make these posts. Okay, she's like, what do I write? Just write something, right?
Right.
So there may or may not be a communication between the bus barn and who's selling it. Their supervisor says, just sell the damn thing, right? So they're just doing it. They probably don't like their job. I don't know if they ever had a government job. It's pretty.
They puke.
It's pretty depressing.
They're puking.
Right.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, that's cool. They don't know. But I'll tell you who does know. So what I did is I did a satellite map. Here's my inside guy. So I dropped down in small town USA. You can see the buses from space, right? They look like little Tic Tacs lined up, right? So you just drop down street level. Oh, there's the number. Call them. Hey, how you doing? I like saying I'm Donnie from Texas because it's ridiculous. And they remember you though, right?
Yeah, they do.
They're like, oh yeah, Donnie from Texas. Like, who the hell is this fucking guy? Yeah. Yeah, I was interested in
Donnie
bus.
buys.
Yeah, right. 804 and 805. Can you tell me about it? Those mechanics have zero filter. They don't have any skin in the game, and they don't give a crap.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you
Search for
straight.
everything.
They'll tell you straight. What's cool? I've never lost a bus since I started doing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Inside.
And it's so easy.
So
and that's my inside guy.
So you dropped off inside guy. Google the mechanic.
Right, the
Well,
mechanic.
yeah, if you just tell them that bus number, they know.
Yeah, they know exactly.
So Donnie from Texas takes
all right, so go
the
to,
car. You drop off the car. You go. That's
Go-
how you
go to
picked up the
Kentucky.
bus. Yeah.
All right, in Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's Kentucky at that.
So we're in Kentucky. So then I told the guy, hey, I'm going to come look at this Challenger
Right.
in Virginia, right?
Right.
So, man, I'm excited. I got this red Crown Vic. I don't care if it has plates, right? Just, man, free tolls, right? Just hit the road and head to Virginia.
Free tolls.
Right. Free tolls, yeah. And so it's...
I like the way his world works.
so-
I'd rather be in that one.
So I head to Virginia. I meet the guy at a gas station. He has the car. He pulls up. Well, I start talking to him. You know, he has a real nice guy. I like the guy a lot. Real nice guy. And older. He used to have car lots. He's an old school hustler. That's cool. So we're talking. It's like, hey, what gears does it have?
Right.
He goes, I don't know. I said, okay. What do you know the transmission? I don't know. I can see, the trunk pan's been replaced. Did you do that? Oh, I don't know. So I get to talking to him. He doesn't know anything about the car. He probably just bought it for who knows what.
Right.
And then, I have a good poker face. I can be very excited inside, and outside I got guy resting bitch face, right? Which is fine.
It works.
It works,
yeah.
right? So finally, you just start saying, I'll take less.
Do you point out defects while you're hunting for trying to get the car?
But they're honest.
Okay, because there's a guy we know. He says he just turns around and lets you talk. And, then he finally turns around and he's like, yeah, the price is that much, and it works for him. That's how he's using your
Reverse psychology.
it's reverse psychology, but it works for him because he's the seller. Now you're the buyer.
Right.
So your instinct is to already know what's happening with the seller, get to understand the seller so that you can get one-on-one with them.
Eventually, the seller,
something.
if the seller's negotiable, the seller will tell you.
Yeah.
Especially if you're just like I look, like you'd rather be anywhere else than looking at this piece of crap.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like,
And I got a pocket
you're wasting
full of,
my time, man.
right. I got a
You're
pocket
wasting
full
my
of
time.
money, but I'd rather not be here. There's
Right,
plenty of other fish
right.
out in the sea,
So
which is totally not true because I'm like really excited. But he,
He bent on the price, I'm assuming.
he did. He agreed. I think he would have taken less, but at the same time, I didn't want to cut this guy down because
You wanted to
it's
cut
just
it.
not the right thing.
Right.
I do want him to be profitable. I want him to be
Right.
successful. I want him to make his money. I'm not trying to just
Right.
be that guy. I said, yeah, if you'll take 20, I'll do 20. He goes, yeah, I'll do that. But he said it real fast, so I was like, damn it, he would have done it. If I had said 15
Say
or
15.
17,
Yeah,
he would have done
Hey,
it.
I'm gonna insult this guy.
I'll take
Right.
that.
So I said,
Yeah.
I didn't bring the cash with me. I brought 1,000. I said, I'll give you 1,000 cash right now, and if you'll give me 30 days, I'll come back in 30 days. And he goes, well, do you want to write a contract? And I was like, no. I said, if your word is good, then I have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
If your word is crap, I might as well take that contract and wipe my butt
Right.
because that's about what it's worth, and I'm not getting my $1,000 back.
Right.
But I said, if I'm not back in 30 days, I die. I ghost you.
You got $1,000?
You keep the $1,000 and enjoy it.
That's true.
And he was really pretty shocked.
That's
it's
what's going to happen. Hey, I found another car. Fuck the $1,000.
Right, it's the truth. So, but I did go back. I went back 3 weeks later. I tow-dollied it back. I disconnected the drive shaft and tow-dollied it back. So got it back. It's actually nicer. I think I really did put it down when I was there. But when I picked it up the second time, it was nicer than I remembered. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
So did it have the stripes already on it? Were you putting stripes on it or you were taking them off?
No. The stripes were purple to match the wheels and to match the trim around the taillights and to match the bumper bump things, whatever the hell you call those things, the bumper guards.
Purple?
Those were purple.
Wow.
And I was just like,
Somebody did something.
somebody had their own idea.
Right.
I couldn't. I was so desperate to get those out. When I got home, I sanded them off. After driving 20 something
Oh,
hours.
so it wasn't a decal; it was paint.
It was painted on.
Ooh, that's nice.
It was worse, right?
Damn.
So I got a sander, sanded off. I got those turbo cans, and I just painted. It looks, it looks as good as as a spray can job. From a distance, the farther you get, the better it looks.
It looked great in the photo. I mean,
yeah,
shit.
the photos, right? Just tweak the lighting a little bit, But I got my RT hood. I got all the emblems. Got all the, it'll be an identical build to the 71 Vanishing Point car.
Oh, so was it 71? I thought it was a 70.
To the 70, the movie from 71.
Okay.
So this is 70 Challenger. Yeah, it's a 70 Challenger. Yeah,
Okay.
from the movie. So it's come along good. I'm excited.
And you found a 440 for it already?
Yeah, I found a 440. It turned out it was an RV motor. Guy wanted $500, complete, all the brackets, everything complete, top to bottom. It turns out I got lucky. This is just luck.
Yeah.
It was a steel crank motor with 440 6-pack rods in it from the factory. It was an older RV.
Yeah.
So
They were heavy duty back
pretty
then.
awesome for $500.
So it's got the good heads probably and all that.
The heads, I'll put aluminum heads. Yeah,
okay.
I'm a firm believer.
Now,
in
you're
that.
going to come, is it an automatic car or standard car? Or?
It's an automatic
Okay.
car right now. You can buy the kit, depending financially. You can buy a kit for $7,000. There's a company that makes a kit, 5-speed conversion, all your pedals. You got to modify the tunnel a little bit, but it's a hydraulic setup, so you don't have to do the other little pivot for the arm and all that. But it has the console, the different 4-speed console.
Right.
Oh, wow.
It has a 4-speed. It's everything.
That's everything.
It's
That's
everything. So
You can't beat that. Now,
Yeah, for
you going to put
$7,000.
a Dana at 60 in it in the back? Or
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. The 8 3/4 is okay.
did the leaf spring change? Did the leaf spring count change? Or is it just, what did Mopar do back then? I know that
don't know.
some of those cars didn't even have,
Definitely the Dana 60 would be a nice upgrade.
they're like a pinion number on top. That was about it.
Yeah, I remember this number on top.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the 9-inch, but for that car, but Dana 6 to be the right one. But honestly, man, I know this. I'm at age now. Man, I just want to burn some tires. I bought the polyglass tires. You know how they?
Oh, wow.
You know how they squeal?
So you're going to get on the street.
You know how I know
Yeah.
it's going to drive horrible. It's going to handle horrible.
Right.
That's simple.
But I don't care. I just want to hear those tires squeal, like from the 70s movies.
Yeah.
You know? I just think that's so awesome, man. And I just want to smoke some tires, Like I'm not going to go out there and be the fastest car. It's not that. It's not. I just want to smoke the tires, And it's going to do
You
it.
want to do some of those donuts on some side road
Yeah,
somewhere?
it's going to do it well.
It's going to be.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I already
Well, we're going to have to go take some video of
it's
that
gonna-
one.
Yeah, they got the remakes. Already got the tires. Got the remakes of the 50.
Really?
You already put them on, right?
No, I haven't.
Not yet? Okay.
They're in my living room.
Okay. Oh, you're staring at them still.
Two's in the
Okay.
living room and two's in the garage. But surprised my wife hasn't said anything.
They won't get weather cracked.
No, they won't. But they're the original. What would have come in the car? It's so visually from the outside, the car is gonna be amazing.
Oh, wow.
It's gonna be amazing.
So did those have that, if I remember that movie, they had like the Keystone wheels, right? Those.
No, it was
also-
Well, they were the original.
Mopar rallies.
Steel
Yeah.
wheels, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I got all those.
Yeah.
They weren't that expensive. Got the new center caps and new everything. So it's not that expensive per se. I try to hunt it, try to get used.
Tires came out of
find
what, the Coker or something like that?
A lot of places are out of stock. So I had to get 2 from Jags, 1 from Coker, and 1 from somewhere else.
Damn.
Yeah.
Every time I order tires, there's always one tire that comes missing, and then I have to go hunt it down.
tires-
They'll give them my money back.
Yeah, so at this point where your car's getting, I guess, is it at a point where...
You're bringing it back together.
You're putting it
the way
back
you
together.
want. The way your
The way I
vision
want it.
was.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So going from there, what's your plan for that car? Like, as far, when you do get it going, like I said, are you going to keep it? Is this something
Keep
that...
Is it for movies, or are you going to try and get something?
I'll run it out for movies if they want to
That's
put
what
it in
the flavor
production or
is,
something.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's...
Okay, so you're working on that car. Your 69.
Mustang.
That's kind of like your Eleanor, because I haven't seen you do something with that big nasty boss motor.
It's been out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah,
It's in a shipping container, and there's so much else going on. It's committing the time to it. It's kind of, I got 10 lives to live and just one life going.
That's true.
So,
One year can go by in
yeah, absolutely.
30 seconds.
Yeah, right. So I try to hire. I'll hire people. There may be 2 to 5 people working for me a day. If depending what's going on, if you don't finish what you need to finish, you need to hire somebody to help you. And I'm a firm believer in that. And a lot of times people hit me up, hey, I need some money. I was like, great, I got tons of crap for you to do. Whether it's movie stuff, whether it's never know what's going to be happening. Like there's always stuff to do. I'm always behind.
So I know you posted. I didn't get too much because it's race book, but you did take some buses over to. They hired you on for a little bit, right? And you got to play a part with one of your buses or the fire truck or what was it? It was the last month or two.
Oh yeah.
So I got to be in 2 movies last year. One was.
Well, I thought it was this year. You had something going on.
No, let me think what happened this year. I'm trying to think what I've done this year. Was it this year?
I don't know, but you took some buses somewhere. You did explain briefly, but I don't know what you were doing.
I'm not sure. It might have been. I did one in Bastrop. I did Rearview Mirrors. It was in a movie for that as the bus driver in that one.
Yes.
And then after that we did. No, it was before that. We did a movie called Men in Blue. It's an indie film. I was a bus driver in that one. We went to the movie preview in that.
Oh.
We didn't go in the bus, but we went to go see the preview. Pretty funny. The one lady asked me, "What was your role? You got your tag on or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, I was the bus driver." She goes, "Oh, you're the bad guy." I was like, in the movie. This is before I had seen the movie.
Yeah.
I'm driving along. These guys are singing in the back. I think this is a fun movie, right?
Turns out it's not.
It's totally not. The editing, editing's a magical
Made it
thing.
horrible.
Right. It turns out that I'm this.
Your getaway.
I'm this guard driver that's oppressing these people, and I'm part of the system, and I'm part of the man.
Oh wow!
I was like, wow, okay, that's cool. But that's fine. It was still fun. It was a lot of fun.
Did they give you a talking part in it? Did you do, or you just had to be a
No talking part, which I'm relieved. They said, okay, we need you to wear this, and it's okay. What pants do you want me to wear? They're like, you don't have to wear pants. I was like, no, I want to wear pants. but it was only me shot from the waist up, so they didn't care what I wore.
It didn't matter if you wore shorts or not.
Pretty funny, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It's fun doing movies. The money is good when it's there. We did.
Do they approach you, or do you have to constantly contact them to keep you in the loop with all your inventory?
No, they'll approach you. They'll say, we're looking. Well, this website that we're about to launch with, that's going to open a lot of doors. Because a lot of times the production companies can't find me.
Right.
We changed the name of the business because it was originally Entertainment Vehicle Rentals. It really didn't, it needs to be something that goes along with the Google search. So it needs to be.
That's true.
So we changed it to Lone Star Movie Cars, right?
Okay.
Which ties in with Texas, ties in with movie cars.
You start seeing yourself pop up.
Right. Yeah. Whereas right now, if you Google me, they can't find me. I'm registered with the Texas Film Commission, all this other things. But even then, Google. Yeah, Google's one.
Google, you have to pay them in order for them to put you on their Rolodex.
I don't know who pays. I basically have to pay the company that I work with a monthly, but that also it involves that. He explained all of it way over my head. I don't know.
Talk to my lawyer.
Just make it happen, Captain.
Me and him played with it about with the last 5-6 years, and we realized that
it's really changed.
there's a lot of tags you have to put in there.
Yeah, right. You got to be specific, and it's got to be.
Yeah, we were looking at those tags, and we realized those tags didn't work, so then we had to change up those tags. Then we realized Facebook goes into another type of system, so now we got to work those tags for that. And I'm like, man, this is a never-ending.
Yeah, I'll just pay somebody that keeps track of it.
Gets paid to do that.
Yeah. That makes sense. And
then also the more profitable I am, eventually they'll be profitable as well.
Of course.
And really, for what I pay, it was $1,000 to set up, and then $85 a month. But in reality, if I do one rental, will pay for it.
Yeah.
So what do I care? If the one money wise, renting a bus, like say the rearview mirrors, right? It's hard to find a city bus. It's almost impossible for production companies. School buses are difficult to find. Prison buses are impossible to find. I'm the only person in Texas that has.
So, how many prison movies? Do they make that they need a prison bus?
So, quite a few.
You got.
I watch
not necessarily movies, but like sitcom or like TV.
Right, like the HBO Love and Death. Right.
They probably do a lot of that.
Prison bus.
Yeah.
Prison bus, right? The prison bus in that is my prison bus.
Wow.
So, and they did a 2-week rental. That was great. I bought the bus in Florida. Mm-hmm. Basically, one of the guys he finds vehicles for production companies, right? He's about 75 years old, and one day he's talking to me. He says, he looks at me, and we're out in the middle of the country. It's just him and me, and he goes, "I like you." I said, "I like you too." And he goes, "I got a secret I want to tell you." I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
I've got a secret too.
Right, I'm thinking I'm married, but okay.
Oh yeah. Now I'm tempted to find out. It's here.
Right. But of course I say,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, I want to hear it." And he goes,
Let's do this.
right. I was like, "Oh shit, here he goes." Anyway,
You tell me, I'll tell you.
Right. And then he says, he goes, if you get there's a shortage of prison buses in Texas. If you get one, it's gold, right?
Oh, I thought I was in way left field.
Right. So I look at him, I go, "I'm on it. I got you." So anyway, he calls me back 2 months later, and he says, "Hey Donnie, how's it going?" I said, real good. He says, "Hey, remember we had that conversation 2 months ago?" Or something like, "Hell yeah, I remember. It should creep me out."
Yeah, creep.
Yeah, I said, "Hell yeah, I remember." I said, "In fact, I'm driving one right now." He goes, "What?" I said, "Yeah, man, I told you I don't mess around." I said, "I'm driving one, and I got one sitting in my house."
Wow.
And he goes, "What?" I said, "Yeah, man." He goes, "You have any pictures?" He's like, "You damn right I do." And so I send him the pictures anyway. So he goes, "Man, I showed it to production. Production loves it. When can we sign a contract?" I said, "I'll be back in Austin tomorrow." He goes, "Great, hit me up." They signed a contract. I paid $48 for it. They signed a contract for $65. 2 days later,
Damn.
right out of the rip. 2 days later, they call me back. "Hey, do you care if we paint this bus?" I was like, "What color?" He says, "Same color." So yeah, go for it. In other words, "Hey, do you
got
care?
a free paint job.
Do you care if we spend $8,000 to $10,000 to repaint this bus?" And go for it. You know?
Yep.
So I got a free paint job out of
Free
it,
paint job and paid you?
and paid me.
Wow.
And then I would say 3 weeks after that, another production company was doing a series of I guess they'd followed some inmates after they got out of prison that were doing well, and they thought it'd be funny if they transported the actors in a prison bus. So they rented the prison bus for the day, and
Wow.
that was another whatever $800 I think.
Yeah. So now, aside from that, did you take these buses and give like kids rides, or hey kids, this is what'll do if you get in trouble? You know, you throw them in there, or do you
No.
do you go to elementary schools and show
Yeah.
No, so-
display some of this stuff?
So
Or
you have to be
liability or something?
you have to be cautious with, one, what does your insurance cover? Two, what does your license cover? In other words, you can have 15 other people and yourself, right? You can't do it for profit, right? Unless your insurance covers that. So
gotta be
now with
careful
the
out
movie
there.
production companies, they have their own
They have
insurance.
it.
They got their.
They have their own stuff, so,
Right.
so I don't have to provide that. The goal is to keep profits up on my end and keep costs low. So by them providing all that, then it's no expense to me. They put fuel in it. If it has a flat tire, they fix it. It's actually very Hollywood. It's comically Hollywood. They'll call me up. They'll say, "Hey, we need 2 buses for Thursday." I say, "Okay, great." And they'll say, "Where you at?" I'll give them the address. A dude shows up.
They'll pick them bitches up.
He shows up. He rolls down the window, flips out a clipboard. He goes, "Sign here." I sign it. He goes, "All right, your check's in the mail." Flips the clipboard back. The window goes up, and they drive off. I swear to God,
Damn.
It's that easy, right?
And you just left on the side of the road. Okay.
Right, and they
shit.
know,
Thanks.
and they know where the keys are. They know where everything. I don't do anything at all. Then the check comes in.
Wow.
It gets to a point to where, people will be like, "What movie was it? What movie? What?" I'm like, man. After a while, it's just, "Where's my check?" Yeah, like.
I don't care what movie it is.
To the point you just open the door in underwear and socks and
Pretty much.
it's over there. I'll see you. Thanks.
Pretty much, it's pretty ridiculous. But it's actually it's hard for production companies to find buses. Like I went to one production and they'd said, "Thank God we found you." I was like, "Oh yeah, what's going on?" And they're like, "Well, our other 2 options were $5,000 a day for a bus or $500 an hour." And I charged them $750 for a day rental.
A day.
And it only took maybe 3 hours, but they also paid $250 for delivery, $250 for pickup. So, dude, for just a few hours, I mean, it was great money.
So eventually, how do you figure out that there's other people in the game? Well, you're the only bus guy, but how do you figure out eventually there's somebody else in the United States with buses that they're willing to.
Well, I mean, in Texas, you're
You're gold. You're Donnie from Texas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's it.
that's the key in being that Texas is being a hot.
Source for movie production. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't
So if
know.
somebody moves
It
in a
is,
gig, do you need a guy or
If somebody what?
if somebody moves in on your gig, do you need a guy to help you out?
No,
and,
you know, it's
and talk a little
Like the
common
mafia?
sense.
I think the difference is that
What are you talking about?
Movie
What
rental.
are you talking
mafia.
about? What are you talking? I was just talking friends here.
I think the difference is that I do like people and,
Yep.
and I'm personable with them, and I'll negotiate pricing wise. You know, if you're talking to Netflix, if you're talking to HBO,
Oh, yeah.
they got money to put your lights out. They got money all day long. They don't give a shit. They got the budget. They don't care.
They do, yeah.
Right. But if you get with these smaller productions, say it's a University of Texas film something, these guys don't have a big budget.
Right.
You know, so I'll give them discounts. I'll give them,
Yeah,
because I want their business and I'm excited actually about their project too. You know,
You want to be
so-
successful too, just like everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And-
Are you looking to
they
be in the
remember
movies?
that.
Are you looking to be in the movie to catch a part, or not really?
Nah, you know, no. You know, I get nervous. Like I don't have any acting skills. You know, and I watch the like they'll I don't know what the terminology is. Basically, they'll say, hey, tomorrow's scene is this, right? And they tell what each person's scene is.
See the script or whatever. that
Right,
is,
and I'm
the
like,
manuscript
please
or
don't
whatever.
I don't have to say anything. Please not be an action film. Please not, you know. And it's like bus driver drives. I'm like, you know.
Yeah.
So far I've dodged a bullet. I'm sure I could do it, but yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I've only gotten paid one time. It was horrible. I didn't like it. I sat the whole day just to do one little part. Take, do it again. Take, do it again. Take, do it again.
Right.
And then go back and sit. It's hot as shit. I'm waiting. They put a wig on me. So I did. I went there with the haircut thinking I was gonna,
Right.
camera was gonna. No, man, they completely turned me into a Bigfoot, with shoes and no laces, and I got paid for the day, which wasn't bad. Like maybe $300, something like that. But for what it was as an extra, damn, it is a painful.
Yeah, so I see a lot
job.
of the extras and stuff, but for me, I'm outside of that, because I'm providing the vehicle. So what I will do sometimes though, because I think it's fun being in the movie, and especially if I'm making enough money where I'm stoked, like say Review Mirrors, I mean that gig was $1,900 for 4 hours,
Wow.
and I'm like, and of course, so I learned to casually say, hey, is it cool if I hang out on set while you guys are doing your thing? I know exactly what they're thinking. They're thinking, okay, our driver's already here. Oh, he's a mechanic too, so now they don't have to hire a professional driver. They don't have to hire a standby mechanic.
Yeah, you can get in. Man.
All in one for free. But then I also get to be in the movie, so I'm like, yeah, it's
Wow.
a good trade off.
So have you had to change a tire yet, or something happened to the bus and you got to fix it? Or
Never,
okay, wow.
never. Buses are pretty dependable. So if a lot of people get freaked out about the thought of jumping into this, 20, 30,000 pound whatever vehicle. But you got to remember, these are fleet maintained.
Right.
They're meant to cover some miles. Right. So for what I'm using it for, the odds of it breaking down in that 200 or 300 miles that I'm driving it, probably not real likely.
Yeah.
But I do go out there. I'll start them, which is a lot to do. I'll go out there and I'll start them. I might drive them around. I'll move them around. Make sure they still run good. Make sure there's no weird sounds. But for the most part, they're
maintained,
They're
right?
tanks,
Yeah.
and they are tanks. The oil change, you're not going to do the oil change probably in the life that you own that thing.
Wow.
Because you're not putting no miles
Yeah.
on it. You're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty carefree.
So what's the count now?
So I was up to 16 buses.
16 buses.
16 buses.
Can you hoard 16 buses at your place? Oscar said, hell no.
16 buses, 3 fire trucks, that big military truck, the
Yeah.
big army truck,
The Rambo truck.
the Rambo truck, right?
It's bigger than Rambo's truck.
It's bigger than Rambo's truck. That's right. 'Cause
Yeah, it's
his-
super Rambo
His was
truck.
a deuce and a half, and this is a 5-ton. And if you saw them side by side, they're like a mini truck versus a F-350.
Yeah,
or
it's
whatever.
like Rambo X.
It's crazy, right? I think I have 8 Crown Vics. I think variety of vans, variety of SUVs, classic cars. Just stuff. I don't know how many I have, but
So-
it's just stuff. It just becomes stuff.
I have a problem with my cars because I don't drive them very much. But I've got a problem where I forget to go and turn them on because of
Right.
stupid battery, And for car guys, usually they always have little, the tender.
Right.
Hell, I don't even buy one. I just like, hey, just go disconnect the damn battery. We'll put it back on later.
Right.
And then sometimes I'll forget. And man, I'll run probably through 2 or 3 batteries a year just because I forget to turn the fucking cars on. So do you
Right.
do you maintain this? Is it it's actually a job, right? You have to go and maintain this stuff.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to
Batteries,
maintain it.
multiple batteries in these things.
So most of them have 2. Some of them have up to 6 batteries, right? Mm-hmm. You can't let them sit. If you let it sit, even a brand new battery will go bad. It just it calcifies or whatever it does.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is, I would just go buy another battery, no big deal, whatever.
What's batteries?
Now this is 6 batteries.
You're talking a lot of money, right? So now what I do is I have less batteries, and then I do maintain them now. I do take them out, I do charge them, and then I swap them. So if I'm using this bus more, I'll use it in that bus. But then I'll take them out of that bus and put in this bus.
Swap them around.
One, it saves me money. It's like, hey, look, if you can swap these for, that's $500-$600 for 15 minutes. Dude, do the 15 minutes. Don't go spend $600. You know?
Right.
So I'll do that. So I started doing that more. Yeah, and now I stock a bunch of batteries because I have shipping containers. I have like 5 40-foots. And, so I'll just stick them in there, and then I'll just pull them off and rotate charging them, and just So I'm being more thoughtful now.
It's turning into a job.
It's not that bad.
No.
No, it's not. It's pretty. It's not that bad. It's pretty carefree for the most
Yeah,
part.
worst thing it is like when I'm, you ready to go to an event? Yeah, sure. And then that night, I get in the car. I'm like, man, I haven't been in this fucking car. This is badass car. I don't know why I don't install my heads, and I don't know what the hell. Man, why do I not mess with this car? Then I'm like, well, I'm gonna take it to the show tomorrow. And then I go in there, and it makes that noise. You're like, damn it, we ate the battery. So the next morning, it's all over and done because you can't even get a battery. By the time you get a battery, show's halfway. So it's kind of like it's done. And that happens to me quite a lot with my cars, and I don't even keep them that long, except for my 2. I'm real close to F-body cars, but man, one of them that alarm is a killer with that one car. So the other one, we just disconnect that shit. But that is the worst thing that can happen to me is those batteries killing.
I'll probably keep on deck dozen and a half batteries. So at any given time, it's not a problem.
Buck, how do you do it with your car? Because Buck's like, what?
I
You have lithium, right?
Yeah. I got
That goes bad. What are you gonna do? That's $1,000.
Oh no, I charge it up, man. I say that I've had for almost 2 years, and I can leave it disconnected for because that's the other thing with lithium. With the thing that was going on with lithium a couple years ago, I disconnect that. Everything I disconnect it. And then I just put it back on, fire it up, and then about every 2 weeks I'll charge it up. And with all my other trucks, I got 3 trucks.
Yeah.
And if I'm not driving that one truck, my S10 the whole lot, I'll go out there and start it every week. I'll just start it, let it run,
Right.
battery charge. So
I just know something
I don't have
about
a problem.
fuel injected cars, the computer, something always trickles a little bit of battery.
It resets when the battery goes dead. It'll reset everything, and you gotta go back and let it relearn. And if you try to take it to, because I've done it before, I disconnected my battery on my S10 and for 6 months, and then when it was time to go get it inspected, I'm like, oh shit, put it back on, let it run for a couple minutes, and try to go take it to the.
Don't work.
Oh, there's no codes on here.
You gotta come
I
back.
had to drive for 100 miles, and, so it'll reset everything. So
that's annoying too.
But you got to keep your batteries, man. I'm not all about it. Particularly now, if you go back 3 years ago, you can go get a nice, decent battery, like $100. They're fucking $200 now.
Yeah, they're expensive.
So to maintain your batteries to save your money, charge the
So
battery.
so this is why I ask these questions on this podcast, because it's stuff that people don't know. If you're not big into cars, if you maybe just have one car, you don't encounter these problems.
Right.
But this is what this podcast is about: to ask the questions that nobody really does ask. And I'll always ask a strange question. I'll throw you for a loop, and you'll answer them. You'll answer them, right? But this is Donnie's buses. You're talking about
his
multiple stuff.
He got his bus can have 2 to up to 6 batteries.
Yeah,
so,
for you guys to have a dump truck, you know how many batteries you got.
Yeah.
This is a Greyhound bus, a few Greyhound buses.
Yeah.
This is a lot of battery, a lot of juice.
That's a lot.
A lot of juice, man. So
Especially big Detroit 60 and all those big engines, those big coaches.
How much is one of those batteries run?
They're not bad. You can. So if I got a batteries plus, you can buy the.
like a deep cell, whatever.
Yeah, you can buy the it's a Group 31 with a little post. $119.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but $600. For 6.
Yeah, but a friend of mine, normally you're only gonna. So what you'll find is that say if you have six of them connected together, all of a sudden it's draining.
Right.
you're going to find out there's probably only one, maybe two batteries that are actually bad.
Yeah.
So what they'll do is it's kind of like a water level, you know,
Right.
it's going to bring it down to its lowest one.
Right.
So you just test each individual one.
Check the level.
Yeah, change out those two. You're good to go again. Yeah.
Yeah, one battery, two batteries. I could bring down that whole series because they're all tied in series.
Yeah, but I also have a battery tester, so I'll test them how many cranking amps that they have. Then I have a paint pen and I'll just mark them. So then I'll match all the batteries with the batteries. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So if there's 600, I'll put two 600s together. I'll put two. Otherwise, they'll fight against each other and drain each other down.
Right.
Interesting.
Yep.
So, moving from that,
Yep.
because you're a Mustang guy,
Oh, that's right. I'm talking about toilets.
we'll get to that one. We're gonna get that one at the
He
end.
was talking about
You had Mustangs.
Yeah.
I've seen you buy a few.
Yeah.
5.0. Have you tried going into getting some DPS Mustangs for movies? Is it a big thing? I know a guy or two that has one. They got the light show going on and all that.
Yeah,
Have you tried getting into that? Is it just they're too hard to find, or don't care to duplicate?
Never had anyone ask for one.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the time, where's your little niches? Not little. Your specialty cars. Things I really like too. I like the DPS cars. I like that's that's what my Mustang was. I've owned, I think, two of them since then. But it's.
Did you give them or sell them already?
I still have a coupe, but it's not a DPS coupe.
Okay.
Yeah, I have two coupes right now. I have an 84 and a 93. But they're just back burner projects.
Okay. The 93 is the one I saw. That's a blue or black or something?
Black one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nice
Black
one.
coupe. That's a nice little coupe. Yeah, I bought it out of San Antonio. It was a towing auction. Online government. One of those auctions. $1,600. Couldn't believe
Wow.
it. No one else bid on it.
5-speed.
A 93 coupe 5-speed car. Yeah.
Wow. Those are rare little
Pretty
cars. How many
crazy.
miles did it have in it?
I don't know. A million. Who knows? I don't
Yeah.
know.
They drove the shit out of that one.
They hammered it.
But they still turn on, they smoke a little,
Right.
and then put some nitrous on it, and they still haul ass, right?
It's pretty funny. Yeah, it's
That's,
funny.
that's the way they work.
But yeah. But they don't really ask for them. If they'd ask for them, sure, I'd get them. But
They're not a hot commodity. I
they're
guess.
not.
Yeah.
I like them, and there's people that really love them.
There's people on this podcast are going to hear this, and they're going to be like pulling their hair, like, shit, he's got a real 5-speed one. I really want that.
Well, well, people want
He's
it.
got a coupe. He's got a coupe.
Yeah, I know. They're out there. There's those
You
deals.
can convert it to an LS.
Right, okay.
Bunch of LS
Oh my gosh.
potheads.
Yeah, I can't do that.
They want it. Convert it.
I can't do that. Yeah, that's just. That's just not my thing. I think if someone else is doing it, hey man, it was probably more than that car was ever going to be anyway. More power to you, But
Right.
but it's not my. I would never do it. It's just not. You can do it, but it's not my thing. I'm a Ford guy,
Right.
And it's just that's the way I was raised,
Of course.
And
Yeah, there's the diehards that are diehards, and you'll go find those period correct or motor trans combos, and bam, they're worth some money.
Yeah.
To people, and to like I said earlier, people who want a specific car,
Yeah.
they're gonna find it and they're gonna
Yeah.
get it, and they're out there. It's just, you got to find it, right?
People always say this is hard to find, or man, that's pretty
Right.
rare. That's hard to find.
It's out there.
It ain't hard to find. The money's hard to find to buy
Yeah.
that crap. That's what's hard to find. You can find it.
Right.
It's the money.
So, real quick,
Yeah.
that Challenger,
Mm-hmm.
you said it basically ended up free.
Yeah.
All right.
Why?
Well, because the Chevelle. It was
That leveled it.
because the Chevelle. Right, because the
You
Chevelle.
made your money on
I
that.
I pulled 25 off the top on the Chevelle. So then the Challenger was 20, and then 5,000 for those tires. Those
Right.
those tires are $430 a piece.
Yeah.
Jeez,
But it made the sale of the car, or it attracted somebody to it,
The Chevelle.
with those red lines. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those were $2,000 for the wheels and tires.
Right. Those
So-
are expensive. The 14s, you bought them in 14 or 15?
No, 15 for sure.
15. 14s were getting hard to find.
Again, they have them, but 15 would have been more
Right.
appropriate. Well, actually, it would have been 14s actually originally. I think.
That would have been original, yeah.
But 15, it fills the wheel wells out
Right.
better, and the average person would never notice that
Yeah.
they're not
Right.
they're worth for. And the car was a clone anyway. It was
Oh,
a
okay.
tribute car.
Okay.
So at
Yeah,
that
it
point,
didn't matter. Yeah.
now if it was original, I would have went 14s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So still shoot. So last, you have a photo with a bunch of kids, stainless steel kids in the back. They're toilets.
Yeah, the toilets.
These are the prison toilets.
Yep.
And you bought I forgot the count. What was the count when you bought them?
I think 137. I forgot to 132.
Did you buy more ever since then?
No, I haven't.
You made a garden out of them.
Yeah, that's what I call it. Because it looks
Flowers
like,
are growing
it looks like a garden.
out of it. Yeah. That's pretty cute though, because you've got them all set up and little flowers coming out. So where? Okay, so
How'd that come to be?
Well, yeah, that. But so why would I go on eBay and say, "Holy shit, there's a toilet I've been wanting,"
Yeah, absolutely.
and who's gonna buy one? Somebody's not gonna buy one. They're buying.
Not true.
Wow.
Yeah, not true.
Would you put one of these in your restroom?
I mean,
Have you sat in one of those?
no.
Have you sat in one of those? That's
You know, so like
absolutely.
when you go to like when you go to the
Yeah.
parks or something,
They're
they
there.
have them there.
They're there, stainless steel.
I mean, yeah.
So
So I mean, I guess to your point.
who's the customer?
What was the reason for purchasing
What
100
kind?
plus?
Oh, I can tell you.
Go ahead.
All right, so if you look at kind of the stuff that I do, I'll focus on things that are in demand,
Right.
that there's not a lot of people doing. That way you're in demand, and that way you can you can sell your product, or you can sell whatever your service, right? So also there's a saying I like: if you come out with a service or product, it has to be as good or better than the existing service or product, or you come out with a service or product that doesn't exist, that there's a demand for, right? So, and then you're the king, right? The saying doesn't say that, but I added that to it because I think it's like I want to be the king, right?
Yeah.
Toilet king. Anyway, so
Right. So getting pointed. Yeah.
so I thought it'd be funny. This is where it started, to do a prison cell Airbnb, right? In the back of the prison bus. So basically the prison bus that was in Love and Death HBO, I thought it'd be funny that super fans would probably want to stay in the bus from the series, right?
Wow.
Because super fans, they're nuts, right? Not nuts. They're just
They'll do something.
They're into their thing, right? Whatever
Yeah.
that thing is, right? People like life is about experiences,
Right?
And it's something different and unique. It's something to talk about. It's something exciting, and people have a fascination with prison and all that kind of stuff too. At least the ones that haven't
The
been.
cling of the cell bars.
Right,
Cling.
the whole thing, right.
Get me out. Get me out.
Right. So in the back of that prison bus, basically we're converting it to a prison cell. The 2 bunks, the itchy blankets, the Bob Barker shoes, the bars. Like it is a prison cell, right? I want to give them the whole experience, the shank tooth proof toothbrush, I'm gonna give them
The tattoo machine.
Whatever. I want to do the whole thing, right?
Bussin', like they say on,
That's right.
on Instagram, make some gel food and shit, gel Twinkie and shit.
The whole thing, right.
Yeah.
And so what I needed was a prison cell toilet, right? It can't be a legitimate cell without a prison cell toilet, right? It's not going to function. Right. It's just a prop. It's just right. So I started looking for these toilets, right, as we all do, and brand new, they're $3,000 a piece, right? So I said I'm not going to do that because I like having fun. My number one goal is having fun, and if I can make money having fun, that's a win-win.
Wow, well, $3,000 would have killed that little.
It would have killed it, right?
Yeah.
And if I don't make any money, I had fun, So then I said, okay, I'm gonna find a used toilet, right? No problem. I'll scrub it. I don't care, right? It's stainless, The cheapest one I could find, this was a year ago, was $1,100. Local pickup in Iowa. There was one left, right? So this guy's been selling them for $1,100, right? I said, well, I'm not gonna drive to Iowa for a damn toilet, right? I said, no problem, right? So what I'll do...
$1,100 and drive back with a damn toilet.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find anything paid for by the government is sold by the government, right? Through these auction websites.
Somebody's going to have
which I'm good at. Which I'm good at those because I'm good at them. No problem. I'll just find a prison that's closing down. I'll buy all the toilets. Sure enough, just south of Dallas, there was a prison that was closing down, right? You can't buy one. You got to buy them all. Okay, well, let me back up.
Well, that can't be good news. The prison closing down.
I'll back up just a little bit. So when you Google, as we all do, used prison toilets, right? They're everywhere. On the computer, they're everywhere, right? Man, these, no problem, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I start calling them. Hey, how you doing? I'd like to get one of your prison toilets. Yeah, we don't sell them. We rent them.
What?
I was like, I don't need to rent one. I need to buy one. Yeah, we don't sell them.
Who the hell's gonna?
That gave you the cling.
So then, I called 2 other places. The same thing. We rent them. We don't sell them. I'm like, hold up, what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
There's a prison toilet shortage in the United States.
What the freak?
There's no other logical conclusion to what's going on, right? So I said, no problem, right? So
That's just a lot of ass going around.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right.
There's a lot of ass and not a lot of holes to drop.
so
Some
then
shit.
Something's not
so
happening.
then
That is some shit, man.
so the prison was closing down. They had 137.
Yeah.
To put that in perspective, that's 4 40-foot shipping containers of toilets. It was more than I realized, right? But no problem. So I took two school buses, which are the same size as a shipping container, took all the seats out, got my little crew together. We drove to Dallas. We loaded 2 buses. 2 days later, went back, loaded 2 more
So that's
buses.
that picture. Kitchen.
So that's how I got the toilets, right?
Wow.
Holy
Okay.
shit.
So I got 137 toilets. So if we do the math on it, I spent $12,000 between fuel, all these toilets, help, whatever, $12,000, right? No problem. So then, so I think the math comes out to $87 a piece in them. Okay.
Okay.
So I say, okay, I'm gonna reset the national.
We're gonna get them Brody kids. We're gonna get them Brody kids.
I'm gonna reset the national market
Yeah.
on prison toilets. I'm gonna ask $650, which is a bargain, right? That's almost half of what the other guy's selling for $500.
Yeah.
So in local pickup.
You're making margin right off the bat.
So
doing
then,
that way, yeah.
so then I said,
Donnie from Texas.
so then that's right. So then I put I think I bumped it to $380 shipping, right? No problem. People paid it, right? So I ended up selling. I still have about 80 left. I'm guessing. I don't even know.
80.
I've sold about $30,000 worth so far. So I've already.
I'm in the wrong fucking
So
business,
I've already.
man.
But in the end,
What are we doing here?
Stainless
Podcast?
steel.
But in the end, I'll
Yeah.
clear between 70 and 75 profit on that, on toilets.
How about that, Oscar?
Yeah, on toilets. So I recently went to LA, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that on Facebook.
Yeah, you did,
I had
yeah.
3 toilets. I'm driving along, right? Mm-hmm. So a studio. So who buys them, right? Who the hell's buying these toilets, right? Now there are some strange cases,
Little
right?
leprechaun comes out of a hole somewhere.
I've heard 3 times the same phrase. I'm so excited. This is going to complete my room.
Ooh.
I'm like, so of course then I'm seeing the address where
Yeah.
these things are getting messed. I got to Google it. I got to look at this. And it's all in this real nice neighborhood, real nice. I'm like, man, what's going on inside that
Put
house?
stainless steel.
Right. So one guy says, well, I work at the prison, but this isn't for the prison. This is for my room at my house.
He just finds them comfortable.
I guess, I don't know. The other thing you'll get morbidly obese people that
need
that
some
weigh
strength.
500-600 pounds.
Oh wow, they've broken
so
a
they're
commode
breaking the
before.
commodes, right?
So
So
porcelain.
right. So the stainless will support their girth
Wow.
or whatever, you know. So there's those people.
And America is obese in some way or another.
Yeah. So it's popular with that crowd.
Not with me though. I mean, I'm working on it. You know.
The main buyers though are these production companies.
Yeah.
So all across America, there's warehouses like this, but actually inside it they'll have a theme room. You know, it'll be a prison, it'll be an office, it'll be a laser room, right? It'll be whatever.
The door slides. It's a freaking.
So what they do is they rent that out to production companies,
Yeah.
or the production company owns the warehouse. And they make short films, they make whatever.
Yeah.
So that's how they make their money. So,
Damn, everybody's in the gig for something, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So this guy in LA, he said, "Hey man, he's like, I need 3 toilets." I said, "Okay." I said, "When do you need them?" He said, "Yesterday." I was like, "Okay." He said, "I'll give you. I think you get $24.50 for 3. I mean, I got what, 200 something bucks in them, right? So I'm like, "All right, bet." So I was like, "I'll bring them to you." So I drove to LA. It was about 50 hours round
That's
trip.
with shipping included or aside?
No, I drove.
Oh, okay. So you're the shipping.
Yeah,
right?
I drove because I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I could ship it. Shipping's $380 is what I would charge order, $1,200 whatever. You know, yeah. So he paid me the shipping too. So anyway, I only spent $500 in gas. Yeah, I had to drive about 50 hours, but it was more than that. It's also networking. So this guy's, he's in
He's
LA.
in connection with somebody.
Yeah, he's in LA.
Maybe
He's
meet
got his
him.
own production company. He's actually going to move another location out near Lockhart. So I was like, man, I want to get to know this dude because maybe I can do future business with him.
Right.
And the more you can network,
Of
the
course.
more
You
that's
may
going
be
to
looking for something that you can provide.
Right, it's going to open more doors.
Damn it.
So why not? And it was a nice trip. And I'm crazy about.
Prison toilets.
Well, no. What was that? Roscoe's. Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles in LA. I'm crazy about that place. Like I'm crazy, dude.
There's one here off of 183. Nothing like.
No.
Wow.
I've been chasing that dragon for years, trying to get those chicken and waffles just like I like them.
Yeah.
Can't find nothing.
Where'd you first find them?
Roscoe's
At Roscoe's out there
in LA.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't
LA.
find that. I'm like, man, I'm Texas. I've never eaten a chicken
Chicken and waffles.
with waffles.
Holy crap,
No.
man. Dude. Dude, you get.
I've never woken up and I said, I want some chicken.
Yeah, there's.
Give me a waffle.
isn't
No,
there
it's
another
never
shit?
happened.
Oh man, it's
Yeah.
it's amazing. Like it's you got to go to Roscoe's if you ever go to LA.
I might try that. This is spicy chicken, hot chicken wing.
Probably got both.
No, what they do is they take chicken strips. You can get it a few different ways, but they dip it in the waffle batter, and that's how they cook it. And then you get the waffle, then you get the butter and the syrup, and it's so good. And the hot
Okay,
sauce,
I'm about to try something.
it's
like
good. It's good. Yeah. So
I'll try it.
so I was wanting to do that as well, which I did. But it was cool, man. But
that.
yeah,
Tacos and waffles. How about that?
Yeah, probably.
I think they got.
Dip some taquitos in the bag. Better. No, not gonna work. I'll try something.
I think they have waffles
Thinking
where
out
they
the box,
fold it and
yeah.
they put chicken strip inside. I think they do that. That's kind of a waffle taco, but so yeah, that's the toilet story.
Interesting.
So the key, really, a lot of the key
Yeah.
to it is realizing markets that there's in demand, and so I keep my head on swivel all the time. In other words, I don't have a idea of where you're going to be in 2 years, where you're going to be tomorrow, where you're going to be in 5 minutes. Like for the most part, I have absolutely no clue, and I like it that way. I like the chaos of, but within that, you have your. In other words, if you have your mindset on this one hallway, this one path,
Right.
there's a million hallways around you, and you're certain it's going to come down this one hallway. You're really shortchanging yourself. So what I do is I'll put out whatever I want to put out there, and then just keep my head on swivel and see what
See how
comes
it
back.
works.
It might be prison. Like, how did I know I was going to be driving down the road with 3 toilets in the back? You know, like I was like, man, life is weird.
I'll accidentally sometimes find myself in those programs, but I never find the angle as to why it felt so good because I didn't know. Like by mistake, I'll find that wave that you're talking about.
Sure.
And so I understand what you're saying. That sometimes, like, man, this is just going great. This was a great weekend turnout because you rode the wave. And my mistake, sometimes I'll get into it, but then sometimes I fall off of it,
Yeah.
and shit don't go right because I'm trying really hard to do something on this side, and I just don't know how to find myself back in that positive. So
It's pretty
maybe people will listen to this.
It's pretty
You'll hear it over and over,
So what you
and
do
it
is
makes
you,
sense.
What you do is you lower your expectations.
Right.
In fact, expectations are the foundation of disappointment. So without expectations, those are set by you. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have any expectations,
That's true.
You're not gonna get be disappointed.
you'll never be disappointed. In fact, you'll find joy in very small things. And when you're overwhelmed with gratitude when big things happen. It's a pretty good
Right.
existence.
Well, this is. I mean, by all means, you're not. I mean, you're not like into these millions, but you're very successful at what you've done in a good period of time. You know, you've understood and you've made the right moves to get to where you are today, present, right?
Yeah.
And toilets, they work.
Right.
Do you plan on maybe just writing a book, just like we podcast here, talk, and then maybe just sell it on Amazon? Because it's good stuff, you know. It's not this is not a fairy tale. This is true. It's working for you. I've seen other people do it without knowing that they're doing something like this, but obviously people are sometimes successful because they find success in a certain way, you know. And I mean, I think if you just wrote a book, man, have you thought about that?
I don't know. You know, I thought about like, because there's a lot of really exciting things coming up. You know, there's with Burt Monroe's great nephew, right? So of course, world's fastest Indian from that movie,
Right.
All right.
So what's neat is that history still continues to this day, right?
Right.
So I've been in contact with Lee. Lee's talking about coming back to America, retracing some of Burt's stuff, which he did in 2017.
Right.
He did in 2018. But he wants to come back on his own. I don't know what collaboration they had. I think Indian gave him that motorcycle.
Yeah.
That 50th anniversary
Wow.
motorcycle.
Yeah.
From what I've read, I don't know if that's a fact.
Yeah.
But he's talking about coming back to America, and if I'm interested in being part of that, or I'm like, damn right I am, dude. And I'm like, dude, do you need a bus? Like when you
Can we put a bike on the bus?
right, totally, yeah, right. And so I
Customize
was
it.
like, dude, I've got this bus with a handicap lift. You could totally pull the bike in. You could have a sleeping quarters.
Yeah.
You could chill in the AC. You could use it all you want, whatever you want, whatever I can do to help.
I don't know if you ever, you probably do because you've been to the Salt Flats. That guy Jocko, did you ever read about that guy? He was a 1950s drag racer, and he was a guy out of normal character. He would build unique stuff. He was real good with machinery. He ported cylinder heads, and he built a streamliner. I think it was for Moon or somebody. And eventually he moved out into either Nevada or Utah, his own little place, his own world. He made really cool furniture out of wood that looked like space age shit. That you're like, how the hell does that even hold somebody? But it did. But all his machinery, all his drills, all the cool stuff, it was on a bus. He had it all on a bus.
Oh, that's cool.
And his house was kind of made like nomads. His whole area. I never went to visit. I mean, I kept up with his stuff whenever they, like Popular Science would interview him. Also, the first time I saw him, it was through Hot Rod magazine. But it was that uniqueness that he was doing that just popped out from the norm, you know what I mean? And he had all his stuff in a box. And I think Von Dutch and all these guys, they knew who this dude was. And but I don't know, look him up, Jocko, Jocko. And he's a big salt flats guy. But a lot of the stuff that he invented, all his machine work, I don't know how the hell he freaking swept all the metal shavings out of that bus, but all his stuff was in a big I guess it was a school bus or something, but I always thought like, man, maybe I'll get one of those city buses and I'll put all my shit in there in case one day I find myself in a rental, I live in a bus, I don't have to get rid of my shit, but yeah, look it up, man, and I think you're onto something there because I mean, the motorcycle's only so big, so I think it'll fit in a.
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
I hope he does it. I think he will.
That'd be nice.
I'd love to be a part of that and be part of history again. The other thing that's coming up is the Bombshell Betty team.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
So that's exciting. What's the college there in Salt Lake City? UCLA. They currently have the car. They have they're campaigning the car this year. But then after that, I think that it's gonna change. Hopefully, I'll get to campaign the car. That'd be pretty amazing.
It's a stainless. I mean, not stainless steel, but it's like a polished.
It's raw metal.
Raw metal.
Yeah.
Wow, how do they keep it from rusting?
You got to maintain it.
You just got to maintain it. Wow.
You wipe it down.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I know that'll be a big project coming up. So I'm excited about that. That's a pretty iconic car.
Cool.
To be a part of that team and campaign that car, and that's pretty exciting. I don't know what it looks like.
What was the motor that's in it?
It's a straight 8. Yeah. Buick straight 8.
Damn. That's weird. Oh, I've never heard of straight 8 before.
There were some. Yeah, there's some like
pretty popular.
There was some
at one time
motors that had like some of your European British cars. Some of those they had straight 8s. Glenn Machine, he's done a few.
That's right. You've always heard some weird stuff. Okay.
Yeah, so
in the late 40s, early 50s, it was pretty popular. With GM.
That's why they had. If you notice, some of those cars they had a long ass front end.
That's right.
They did, right?
They probably had straight 8s. So anyway,
that's right.
So they're a thing. But me personally, I never like. Just maybe a few times, but
just touch it. It's unique. Just touch it.
Yeah, I have one.
Oh, you do? Wow.
Is it a Buick?
Yeah, it's identical to Bombshell Betty. Basically, I'm building the street
Oh,
version.
okay.
Oh, gotcha. You're right.
Bombshell Betty.
That's right.
Do they overheat like all the 6s from back then? They'll crack and are they prone to that?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably.
You'll find out. You'll find out.
No, I know. Mine's a body swap. So mine's on.
Oh, I remember you.
That's right. You got a body going on your chassis.
Mine's on a 2010 L Series Lincoln.
Is it on it already?
No,
not yet. Still working on this. Well, you got the chop down. I mean, that was crazy.
And I got the car.
Did you get cut anything?
I did walking by. Yeah, I cut my leg.
Oh man, you literally you pulled one of those what is it? East Coast. That one show they were chopping bodies and putting Dodge Chargers on them. That's pretty much what you did.
It's exactly that. In fact, I watched those videos.
Yeah, because it looked
gave me the
quite
idea.
possible to do that.
So externally, it looks identical to the old car, but underneath, all the chassis, all the stuff's all modern.
I've only seen, I believe it was either an Olds or a Buick, but there used to be a guy that used to come to the Round Rock Car Show way back in the day. It was a primered, 48, 49, had the fast back, had the big visor, but underneath, man, it was like a
modern
late late 70s Buick or something in it.
All right.
But I'm like, what the hell? The interior it had the 70s dash, and it was weird.
Right.
But it's cool.
It's just so you can drive it and enjoy it. You get the look, but then you have the dependability of the newer stuff.
Nice. Yeah. Well, how much time did we do here already?
Almost. We got 2 hours in.
Got 2 hours. Woo.
So until next time.
Yeah.
Right, I enjoy these podcasts because you always learn something new, man, and I appreciate you coming out.
Right.
and
Toilets.
Well,
we're the connoisseurs now.
Well, when you asked about the conversation, I'm like, hey, do you want to come back? I'm like, man, I was just this is why I was calling you because you talked on it a little bit, and for most people, it strikes a chord, and for other people, it's like, I already do that, or I've never done that. I would never take those risks. That's crazy. Yeah. But our world also needs to hear, because you're a successful guy in doing what you do, not necessarily street racing, but it applies to the whole thing in general. Yeah. That can make you successful.
You have to be able to finance. So the things that you want to do, they take money, unfortunately.
Right.
And you don't have a job because it's the money. It's the things that you want to provide, whether it's quality of life, whether it's your hobby,
right.
Because
before this, I remember you had a 9-to-5 job, eating great donuts all the time.
Yeah, that's it.
And then you one day said, "I'm doing my own work."
Time for the next thing.
What in the world? What's he doing? Why is he doing so? Why does that look fun? You started making it look fun, and I'm like, well, and those are early days of Facebook too. So
yeah.
So you've been around.
Fun is a big focus.
Yeah.
Money wise, I try to think of money as that. There's no limit to money. There's no shortage of money.
Right.
So if that's the case, which I believe that is the case, then if you can identify certain markets, if you can identify, there's other ways to make money legally, which is really important.
Right. Very legal. Yeah.
And the concept is very similar to the illegal. You find person A that's willing to sell it, person B that's willing to buy it. You get familiar with your product, supply and demand.
Oh, and there's bad illegal sell guys out there too that don't know what the hell they're doing. They lose out all the time. Right. They end up on a prison toilet, questioning themselves. What how'd I get here? But going back to the car world,
sure.
you could have been a hardcore street racer right now, waking up every weekend saying I want to race, because you had a really kick-ass Mustang back then, and you could have been very successful in doing what we all like doing.
Sure.
But you just found that at some point you have to walk away to find something that makes you.
Yeah, there was a lot going on at the time. I ended up I was going through my second divorce. I didn't have a place to live. And it's like. I love doing the car stuff. I had so much fun doing that. That was so fun.
Right.
But it can be all consuming. And then I also felt like.
Is it a money pit? Do you think it's a money pit?
It's not a money maker.
Right.
That's for sure.
Because you're always saving for the next part. That's how I find myself.
It started becoming where I started seeing it as like I just liked having fun. That was my whole. I just like having fun, but it became where it became a money race. Not even so much a talent per se. It became a money race, and even back then there was a lot of drug money. There was a lot of I couldn't compete with the guys that had that kind of money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just I was a faster guy. Yeah.
And so then it just got to it's like, well, kind of what's the point? And then there was a lot of people that got killed doing that. So there was that aspect of it. And then I just I don't know. I got tired of.
There's better ways to spend your life other than dusting off a slick and going down A to B and hoping you don't crash.
And it's great. And I still love going. I love going to the races. I love watching it. I still love smoking the tires. I still love the sound of an engine. I like listening to it if the timing's off, or if the timing's too advanced, or if it's running too rich or too lean. Like I love all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
because you're one and all when it comes to your car, you build it all,
right.
And that's how I met you, and that's how I know you. So I always found it strange. Man, what isn't Donnie, building a twin turbo and just flying down the damn.
It becomes to a point where you're like, at what point, at what cost, I think your family can suffer, your relationships can suffer, because you're so focused on building, and building another motor, building a faster motor, getting better rods, getting a better block, getting, more nitrous, more turbo. I talked to Mickey Thompson's wife, Judy. She's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Judy, of course, Mickey Thompson was murdered with his second wife, Judy.
Right. Okay.
Right, but his first wife.
Oh wow. Two names.
Yeah.
Yeah, his first wife was still alive. When I would work with the Danny Thompson team on the Challenger 2, one of my nicknames, I was the bathroom boyfriend, because I would take Mickey Thompson's wife to the bathrooms, because a lot of us so spread out, right? So and I'd always have a Mustang convertible, so we'd go cruising in the Mustang. It was really fun. But she sat down and she kind of like, she didn't say promise me, but she said, hey, because Mickey was all in, he was all into all in that stuff.
Yeah.
She's like, don't forget about your family. Your family's important.
Right.
Don't trade off this for that. And talking with her, that always stuck with me. And of course, by then I'd already slowed down anyway.
Right.
But then it's like, it's important. Spend time with
From her perspective, she felt the impact.
Right. Absolutely.
Of who Mickey Thompson
right,
was
absolutely.
and what he did.
Right. Which is a legend. But it comes at a cost, and really, my family, my wife now, people, there's love languages where people interpret love as different things. One, you spend time, or I don't know what they are, but
right.
you already spend money on them. Whatever they perceive as being loved. My wife is time.
Right.
It's spending time with her. So if I'm already working 10, 12 hours a day, which I'll do every day, I don't care. I'll do it 7 days a week. But it comes to a point where, during COVID, I was working 7 days a week. When the economy's bad, people want to keep the clapped out cars going. Hey, man, if you're a mechanic, you are busy.
Right.
That's, of course, if the economy's good, you're busy too. But one day she turned to me, she's like, do you still love me? I'm like, are you crazy? I'm crazy about you. What are you talking about? She's like, you don't spend any time with me.
That's when you start noticing.
Yeah, so I was like, I promise, I'll cut it down to 6 days a week. I'll try to do 5. So lately, I try to do 5 days a week. You know what I mean? So, but that's important, and you're not going to get that time back. And hot rodding's fun, and I love the scene. I love doing all that stuff. But ultimately, my wife deserves, my time. Right. And my daughter does too.
There's that quote. I don't know I'm not going to quote it per word, but American Graffiti always hit everybody, as the movie guy for hot rodders, car guys, and it always ends with John Milner. He's going to live his life just that way, and he's got his cigarette, he flicks it. This is my, this is how I'm going to do this, and my car will be in a junkyard, and I'm not going to be that guy because this is the way, like he was in control, but he never realized that it wasn't in the script to show that he was going to become a family man, and as a matter of fact, they have to end him with getting hit by a drunk driver because the legend has to live on, But I've asked him a direct question, and he said, because he was a boxer in true life, and he says, when they gave me that skit, I just played it, and now I'm branded for life as that guy. He goes, but in my true life, I'm, he's had his things, and he's got what is it, arsenic poisoning, whatever. I don't know, he doesn't know how he got it, but anyway, that's what he deals with today. But clearly, what people think of him, he just carries on through his photos and what he posts on Facebook because people like that dude went out being that guy. But in true life, man, the guy was no family, didn't have kids, and it was just him in his car for the rest of his life had he lived. But anyway, that's what legends are. That's how legends are made. They in short, Elvis in short, everybody. So what you hit it dead on, man. So. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for coming to this podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
We always will welcome you to come back
because
I know in 6 months you'll have something cool again.
Who knows what'll be happening by then?
Yeah, we want to see that Challenger in the movie or something. I want to stand there like, we talked about it. That's what we want to do. So
that's exactly right. I want to see that Challenger.
Yeah, but if you find somebody, man, that's got some, you see something in there. I mean, you want to bring them on the podcast, man, just to say, hey, man, go talk. This is what we like doing.
Yeah.
We like hearing. We're not here for the money. We're not making money. We just want to interview people,
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
just, like I
absolutely.
said, we just love to hear people's story. I will never be able to afford being a complete dedicated drag racer because, like you said, family always has to come first.
That's it.
But damn, I would like somebody to sit here once a week, twice a week, and hear these great stories. And
Yeah, absolutely.
as it turns out, that's how it
I
goes.
mean, we appreciate it, and man,
Yeah.
everybody be safe. Oscar, appreciate you coming out too and shed some light on your
swap meet,
coming up.
vintage bicycles,
April 15th.
and
And
cars.
give a plug.
What I mean, if you don't mind, you don't have to. But
Yeah.
what's the name of your company? Lone Star
Lone Star Movie Cars.
Movie Cars.
Google it. He's on
so
there.
just-
Lone Star Movie Cars.
Just if
Soon.
you guys want to get
So-
more details
soon.
about
Not currently, but soon.
Donnie Dye, right?
Yeah,
Donnie Dye, DY.
Lone Star Movie Cars. So okay, guys. So we're gonna wrap it up.
Again, real quick, vintage bicycles and cars, swap meet, Oscar's Garage, hot rod stuff. You can find us on Facebook, Oscar's. Oscar, what do you go by on Facebook?
Oscar Vera.
Just Oscar Vera, yeah, Vera. You can find him, or you can find me on Instagram. You guys know where I'm at on Instagram. You guys know where Buck is. You know our Facebook page.
Yep.
We've got the flyers going on. Go check us out, man. We're gonna have a great time. We're gonna have some, like I said, really cool vintage bikes. They're gonna come out from being dusty somewhere, and somebody's gonna put them up. And then also all the good parts and
Yep.
stuff that you'll only get to see maybe once or twice in your lifetime. Unless you hang out.
They have a couple of toilets there too.
Couple of yeah, we may have some on display.
That'd be awesome.
For putting a plug in for Donnie, Donnie's toilets.
Yep.
All right, man.
All right,
Peace out, guys.
All right, guys. You guys
Later.
be
Bye.
safe. Till next time. Peace. We out.